Morning to the third morning of heats here at the fourth morning. Oh, I've got that way behind track. It is the fourth morning here. 15 hours of live commentary, that's what it does to you. It's the fourth morning. Shall I start again? Welcome to the fourth morning of the Aquatics GB 2025 Swimming Championships. It is the qualification for the World Swimming Championships in July in Singapore this year. It's the qualification for the Para World Championships in Singapore as well. Also for the European Juniors, the European Under-23s, the World Juniors, and the European Youth Olympic Festival. And we've had 3 cracking days so far. Absolutely loving it. It's been a wonderful meet. And in terms of qualifications so far, well, it's going very well indeed. In terms of the senior swimmers, we've got 9 men and 7 women qualified already. It's only day 4, so halfway through. 9 men and 7 women. We've got 20 juniors already qualified for the European Juniors and 7 paras for that Para World Championships. Here's the schedule for this morning. Men's 50 metres backstroke, Ollie Morgan straight back after that unbelievable 100 backstroke last night. Women's 50 fly, then men's 100 fly. That'll be interesting for that medley relay. Women's 400 metres freestyle, and then Duncan Scott, Britain's Olympic medalist on that 2IM from both Tokyo and Paris. And then the women's 200 metres backstroke at the end of this session. It's going to be a cracker, and delighted again to be joined by the Welsh rocker, Dan Jervis. Dan, you enjoying it so far halfway through? How's it been?
Bore da, Andy. I'm absolutely loving it. It's different, I'll be honest with you, but I'm really finding my feet now. I'm enjoying it. I'm getting into the rhythm of it, and I'm so much looking forward to the second half.
What is it that's different from what you expected?
Well, I'm not just stood here in a bather. I'm fully clothed.
Wait, you didn't expect to be in your bathers, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But
wait a sec. This is a commentary box.
No, but usually I have... You know, it's very intense when you come to these big competitions because they are huge, and you know, when you're racing under the lights, it is very daunting, and we'll talk about that later, but I'm loving it.
Goodness. And it's definitely the fourth morning, not the third, and I can tell you that Dan Jervis is definitely not in his bathe, sitting next to me. So it's the first of 7 heats of the men's 50 metres backstroke. Jack Sadbury of Swansea University is the fastest seed. 27.40 is his seed time. 5 juniors out of the 8 in this first heat. Great shot of the little ledge there where they put their feet to try and make sure that they don't slip on the start. 50 metres backstroke allowed, 15 metres underwater, and pretty close there. Good start from lane 3. It's the Plymouth College athlete. One of the juniors here is Toby up there in 3, and he's going very well. Then 10 lanes here in this pool, only 8 in this first heat being used, but then it'll be all 10 after that. Oh, the rest of the field coming back very fast indeed. So tight, goodness me. Xander Tovey gets the touch in lane 5, 26.99. Well, that's half a second inside Xander's best time. I'll be trying to highlight some of the school programmes that we've got this in Britain at the moment during this morning's sessions, because there's some cracking school teams. And let's start right there with Millfield School. Xander Tovey, 26.99, 1/100th of a second ahead of Jeremiah Carnegie of Whitgift. Another school programme with Isaac Jones of Mount Kelly in 3rd and Plymouth College 4th. Well, what a great start to my high school highlight programme this morning.
Yeah, Andy, you were a founder member, weren't you, of Mount Kelly with Sharon Davis?
I was indeed. There was 21 of us on that team. I think 19 were on the British junior or senior team. Great fun. Some fantastic swimmers there. Robin Brew, Nigel Goldsworthy. A whole load of them. Glenn Cook ended up being a fantastic triathlete. I think he's still a British team coach as well, actually. This heat 2 of 7 of the men's 50 backstroke. Luke Bazin of Winsford Swimming Club is the fastest seed in lane number 4 in this heat 2 of the men's 50 metres backstroke.
Yeah, I picked up on there. Jack Doherty Simpson had a fantastic start. He was really high out of the water, and he came up first at 15 as well. He looks mint.
Well, he's in lane number 3 and he's going well, but looks like up In lane 1 with 0 at the top is Jack Burston, going well from Ellesmere College Swimming. Very tight indeed. He does get the touch, so there's another high school programme going very well. Tied for second, I think, was lanes 0 and 9. So goodness me, trying to follow this is so hard. So Jack Burston in 1, and then in 0 it was Jamie Gray, tied with lane 9, Lauren Roberts-Burrell. Wow. Laurel tied for second, so 26.97 and 26.99. 2 100 split the top 3. Gracious me. Well, 10 100s, 1/10 of a second, split the top 5. Average of 2 100s between each of those. Thank goodness for electronic timing.
I think this just proves how you got to make sure you get everything right, because the smallest difference in a 50 can be the difference from first to last.
It certainly can. 1/10 between the first 5. Wow. Patrick Chitinya of Eastbourne. Fastest seed. So Patrick Chitinya in lane number 4 was the fastest seed in this, the third heat. Very quick up into his stroke in lane number 6. Not quite sure what happened there, but very, very fast up into his stroke. It's now going well in, I think it's in lane 3, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's Christian Gale of Guildford City Swimming Club. Very powerful down this second 25 metres. If he can get in under the backstroke flags, diving for the wall, who's going to get the touch? Oh, he ended up being second, just touched out by Joshua Shepherd. Very good final 25 from Josh Shepherd of Thurrock Swimming Club. Second was Christian Gale in lane 3, and then another tie for third. Finley Pope and Sam Adams of Stockport and Hackney Aquatics. Again, such close races, and your point about getting the touch right is so important, Dan.
Yeah, it is all about the finish in these 50s. I did notice there that Maxim Shamraila from the University of Stirling was the first up. He wasn't underwater for that long, so maybe reflect on this race, he can maybe work on his underwater kick a little bit more.
Yes, indeed. There we go. So that's already heat 4 of 7 of this men's 50 metres backstroke. Rattling through. George Whittle in lane 4. His brother swam a fantastic 100 freestyle last night. I think he's on the World Championship team going to Singapore later this summer. Let's see what he can do in lane 4 here. Fastest seed from Derby Excel. Oliver Davies-Tutel in lane 5 from Sheffield. Dominic Morgan of Swansea in 3. So heat 4 of the men's 50 metres backstroke, the last of the uncycle seeded heats. And again, a very good start right at the top there. It's Ben Hatfield of Winchester City Penguins.
Great start from all these boys. You know, it's important that you stay in the middle of the lane on this 50 because the ceiling is not straight, so it's hard to follow it.
And lane 4, George Whittle going very well. He had a good middle phase, and now he's starting to drive for the wall. Let's see if he can get the touch well. Not bad at all. Very good. 26.32. Well, that's half a second lifetime best for George Whittle of Derby Excel. Very good swimming from him. Second, Andrew Brodie of Edinburgh University. And third, Oliver Davies-Tutel of the City of Sheffield. And a very good middle section there for George Whittle. Excellent. 26.32, half a second lifetime best. Great way to come into this morning.
Great morning swim, yeah, and as we were just saying, talking about swimming in the middle of the lane, these lane ropes, as you can see on the screen, are very big, and what they are is they stop the waves from the next lane coming over into your lane. But on backstroke, you can't exactly see where you are in the lane. So when you're swimming against that, that can really drag you back, that can really hold you back, and it is like a cheese grater.
It really is. If you get stuck underneath it or brush against it, it's like made of sandpaper, and it really leaves a mark. Here we go, the first of the cycle seeded heats, and this is going to be interesting. Johnny Marshall is very, very fast in lane 4. Silver on the 100. I know he's a little bit disappointed with that. Missed out on that World Championship qualification time by 1/100th of a second. The selectors do have discretion, so it may be that they take him. Marshall in 4. Cam Brooker also in that 100 back final. He was 4th, so silver and 4th. And 8th for Jonathan Adam in 3. So some quick boys in the middle here. So the white hat in the yellow lanes right in the centre is Johnny Marshall of Carnegie. And he's had a good start, probably the best start he's had right in the centre. Beautiful still head he's got.
Yeah, these boys are looking great. And many of these lads would have swum in the 100-metre backstroke last night.
Well, right in the centre here, Johnny Marshall, silver on that 100 metres backstroke, and he's gone very well. Let's see what time he can do. His entry time, 25.24. 25.24, he's gone 25.09. So that's a lifetime best for Johnny Marshall, and he'll certainly be in the final with that in a good lane. That's excellent with his Gators hat on. Swam for Florida. Actually came second at the American Collegiate National Championships. Really fast, that is.
That was really fast. And talk about Johnny Marshall. 25.09 is a very fast swim for this morning. And talking about last night doing the 100, they would have had to really prioritise recovery for this morning. They would have maybe feel a little bit stiff, so they would have done a lot of stretching last night.
Well, they certainly will. Good old swim down as well. And Johnny Marshall wins it, 25.09. Brooker second. Roberts third. Looks like 25.4 is a decent marker to make the final. Sub 25.5, you've got a chance. A couple of international swimmers in this heat and another big one, the fastest seed coming into the championships. The internationals can swim in the heats, but it is a British trial, so we're trying to make sure as many Brits can qualify. And look at, talking about Brits, this amazing. What an extraordinary 100 backstroke Ollie Morgan did last night. World ranked #1 this year, and his time has made him the equal 13th fastest 100 metres backstroke in history. 52.17. Yeah, an absolute stinker of a finish. It's not far off the world record now, you know. Take your marks. The second last heat of the men's 50 metres backstroke. Sam Greenbank in 3, Ollie Morgan in 4, Jamie Ferguson in 5. Won the B final of the 100 metres backstroke, but very much Ollie Morgan won the A final. Let's see what he can do here. That lovely backstroke, really nice, powerful, relatively still head, but goodness me, the turnover is excellent. Holds so much water. Let's see how close he can get to the British record, which is 24.04. Let's have a look. 24.76. Well, that's very good. It's just outside of his lifetime best by 3/100ths, but that's a very, very good heat swim. Solid. Job done.
Yeah, also from Jamie Ferguson on a 25.65. Also Sam Greenbank. They were just outside Oliver Morgan. They know he's on fire this week, so it's great for them to be next to him.
So that result of heat 6, the second last heat. Ollie Morgan, very, very strong indeed. Jamie Ferguson second, Sam Greenbank third. So it looks like maybe a little bit above the 25.5. It might allow 25.6, 25.7 to get into this final. Here we go. Mantas Kaspedas of Mount Kelly, another one of the great swimming high school programs in the country. He is an international swimmer, Lithuanian, won the European Juniors, there he is. Won the European Juniors in Lithuania last year. And the crowd went absolutely nuts when he did that. He's the fastest seed going into this heat, so the men's 50 metres backstroke. Mantas Kaspedas of Mount Kelly in 4, Scott Gibson in 5. Rio Dowdu, Mount Kelly teammate in 6. He swam well. Take your marks. So the final heat of the men's 50 metres backstroke. I'm delighted actually to be joined now by Ollie Morgan. Ollie, how are you feeling after last night?
Yeah, pretty good. Didn't get too much sleep, so yeah, tough coming in this morning, but yeah, good heat swim, got the job done, so yeah, hopefully be in a good lane for tonight.
Well, I'm sure you didn't get too much sleep. That 100 backstroke, we'll come to that in a second. Let's just have a look at this though. 25.49, good swim from Kaspedas to win the final heat of the men's 50 metres backstroke. 2/100ths behind him, Jack Skerry from Bath Performance second, and third was Scott Gibson of Edinburgh University. Really close, 25.60. So let's just go back to that 100 backstroke last night. I mean, an unbelievable swim, absolutely outstanding. 13th fastest in history, world #1 this year. And if you don't mind me saying, a stinky finish.
Yeah, I don't know what really happened. you know, really good swim, felt amazing. Yeah, kind of overridden by the time. You know, I was really happy with that, but go on, carry on.
Yeah, well, no, I just wanted to say, Ollie Morgan here is fastest in, so you're going to be between, let's see, Cam Brooker. Well, no, you're going to be next to Ollie Marshall in 5, and in 3, you're going to have, I think, Jack Scarry. What are you looking for tonight on the 50 after such a brilliant 100?
I think it's that skills aspect again. You know, it's something we've been working on a lot. We knew that's where, you know, I needed to compete with the top guys in the world, so yeah, just been trying to really work on that. And yeah, the times, especially in the 100 yesterday, you know, the times that we did in terms of the skills aspect are really good. So yeah, it's just exciting now, looking forward to the summer.
How on earth did you drop so much off your lifetime best when you were 52.7 was your British record going in? You went 52.17, and for me that was like a 51.8. I mean, it was a brilliant. How on earth have you knocked so much time? What have you done?
To be honest, it's just, you know, the same as what we were doing in the past, but we didn't really expect to be faster this year. I've been doing my studies, and what we were doing in the pool and in the gym was kind of, we thought would have a negative impact almost in the pool, and it would come through, you know, later on in the 4 years. But yeah, it's just been amazing. Yeah, we've just been doing more and more phenomenal stuff in training. Yeah, every week's just been getting better and better. In-season swims like Bucks, Edinburgh were really quick as well, so it's just been wicked. And yeah, we knew there was going to be something quick on the cards, but I really didn't think it was going to be that quick.
Well, absolutely. I'm just to put it into perspective, and I've been going nuts about it. It would have won Olympic silver. You would have been 1/10 off Olympic gold, and you had a shocking finish. Unbelievable. I'm going to let you go and swim down, Ollie. But thank you so much for joining us in the commentary box. Love to have another chat later if we can.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well done. Brilliant. Good luck for tonight.
Cheers. Thank you.
So this is the first heat of the women's 50 metres butterfly. Sophie Davis of Millfield School is the fastest seed. And she started very well. Right up the top there in lane 1, it's Honor Luckhurst of Preston, the 16-year-old. And she's going very well indeed. And the red hat right at the top there. This is pretty tight. Also going well in 5 is Maya Al-Mohammed of Nova. Very close indeed on this touch. Oh, a big glide in the centre there. Matilda Ashcroft got the touch. So Ashcroft got the touch. Second was Al-Mohammed in lane 5. Third was Honor Luckhurst in lane 1. And there's a para-athlete in there as well, Paul.
Yeah, Iona Winifred just coming in at the top there. We're not able to see her, unfortunately. But she has finished in 39.46. Iona Winifred, one of the real stars. There she is, getting out. Only just 14 years of age. She won a Paralympic silver medal last year in the breaststroke at 13 years of age. Real prospect for the future. Athlete with short stature, and she finishes there. S7 class, as you see, 39.46 for her.
Well, happy birthday to Iona. She was 14 last week. Gracious me. So heat 2 of the women's 50 metres butterfly. And fastest seed is Isabella Morgan of City of Cardiff, with Marie Wood right on the outside. So let's just keep an eye out for her. University of Aberdeen performance in lane 9, was 8th in the 50 metres backstroke B final. She's swimming well this week, but fastest seed is Morgan in 4.
Take your marks.
So it's heat 2 of the women's 50 fly. There's 10 heats in total, and up pretty quick here. Look again, like right at the top there, Poppy Maybert of University of Birmingham started really well, and right at the very top in lane 0, Georgia Holgate of City of Cambridge. Now the centre lane starting to come through. Really good turnover, beautiful stroke from Isabella Morgan of Cardiff in the centre. Clearly doing some good stuff there. Finished beautifully as well, right on the end of the stroke, and that won of the race. That was great. So Isabella Morgan of Cardiff wins it 28.18 off a 28.76 lifetime best. And that's what happens. Look at that beautiful smile to say, over half a second lifetime best.
Yeah, Gracie Owen had the best dive there, to be honest. And yeah, she had excellent underwater work, but Isabella Morgan really came through, especially on that second 25.
Well, it was a really good swim. Just come here into this cauldron. It is the Olympic swimming pool from London 2012. It still looks absolutely immaculate. It's a wonderful facility. It is, as you said earlier on, I think in the week, it's a little bit daunting coming in here, but if you can come and deliver here, it's a fantastic experience for when you start going to the big events, isn't it?
I was speaking to the head coach of Middlesbrough earlier, and it is amazing, but it is scary for these swimmers.
It really is.
Take your marks.
Heat 3 of the women's 50 metres butterfly. The fastest seed is Ellie Tennant of Long Eaton Swimming Club. And there's 6 juniors in this Heat 3 of the women's... it is Heat 3, isn't it? Yes, it is Heat 3 of the women's 50 fly. 6 juniors, 20 have already qualified for the European Junior Championships this year. After halfway, we can only take 30, so it's a really good set of qualifications so far. Lane 5, Miley Aram. Miley Aram of Derby. I think she got the touch. Yes, she did. The 16-year-old. Really good swimming from her. Excellent. So 28.06. Another 0.6 second lifetime best. Brilliant. What a great reaction.
She was delighted then. Did you see that fist pump? As she should. That was a fantastic heat swim this morning. She had a brilliant finish. She finished the stroke on the touch. With fly, we can talk about this a bit more, Andy, but later. But with fly, because it's such a long... It's a long... How would you say it? Long cycle in the stroke that...
Yeah. I'm with you. It is. I mean, from fingertip all the way round, all through the push phase, all the way back, and then round again to fingertip. You travel an awful long way. So to make sure you get the touch exactly as your fingers arrive at the front, it's not easy to do, but practicing that is so important. About 10 metres away from the wall, you can start looking for it and just make sure that as you're accelerating into the finish, you can also make sure you can adjust your stroke a little bit to ensure that when your fingers arrive at full stretch, the wall is right there. So this Heat 4 of the women's 50 metres butterfly. There's 10 heats in total. Ola Meach of Barnstable, fastest seed. Ellie Kennington of Plymouth College, that newly formed Swim England affiliated club. They've been going 25 years, but they've just separated, and now Roberto Pavoni doing a super job there as director of swimming. Some here in the London 2012 Olympics and now running that programme. And right at the top there, Megan Higgs of Millfield, another school programme with Jasmine Shea, City of Bradford in 1. Looks like Jasmine going well. Also going well is Kennington in 5. And let's have a look. Well, thank you very much, Ellie Kennington. Talking about your team there, Plymouth College Aquatics, and Roberto Pavoni doing a super job, and he's absolutely delighted. And I heard a couple of whoops and hollers. I think that's Mum. So well done. Well, 28.5 was her entry time, and she's just gone 27.8.
And we're looking at the result of the women's 50 fly heat 4. Kennington winning it, Shea second, and Grant from City of Newport third.
Great to see those reactions, isn't it? It really is. And listen to Mum. I think it was her mum. If it's not, I apologise to Mrs. Kennington, but if it's not, if it is, send her a message. We heard you on the telly. Fantastic. Lily Grover of Royal Wolverhampton School, another of the programmes here with high school. Very, very strong youth programme here. Ewan Dale has taken over as the head of Pathway, trying to get the juniors through to seniors. He'll be making sure the teams are on top form for the European Juniors and the World Juniors, working with Nathan Hilton. We've got some excellent coaches running the programmes. We really do. So here we go. This is Heat 5, the women's 50 metres butterfly, and Lily Grover of the Royal Wolverhampton School right in the centre in lane number 4.
Lane number 5, Hallie Harris, really had a good start then. She's really holding at the front. Her and Alexandra in lane 5 having a good tussle in this last 25.
So super swim, that was the winner. It was Hallie Harris. And Harry Hallis in lane number 6, 28.17. Well, again, another lifetime best to win it. It's good stuff, this, it really is. She was 6th in the junior final of the 50 free, 3rd in the junior final of the 50 back, and who's to say she's not going to make the junior final of this 50 fly. There's a lot of them in it, though, so it's not guaranteed to get through, but it's a good swim. 28.17, 28.19, 2 100s back. Swimmer from Stockport. Heat 6 of the women's 50 metres flight. Fastest seed is Evelyn Toy of Bristol. Sophie King in 3, and 2 it's Anna Stansfield. In 5, Seren Talentire of Northumberland and Durham, and in 6, Annabelle Dewhurst of Mount Kelly.
Take your marks.
Just 2 more non-cycle seeded heats, and then the fastest 30 in Britain go in those last 3 heats. And really good start there in lane number 3. I think it was Sophie King of Woking.
Yeah, all these coaches are really working on the underwater element of the 50s. I mean, it is a very important element of the stroke of the 50.
Well, it certainly is. We'll come back to that in a second, because this is also an important phase on the fly. Make sure that you can finish on a stretch. Oh, she stretched a little bit extra there, did Sophie King, but it was a good swim. And she's gone under 28 seconds for the first time in her life. 27.92, Sophie King of Woking. That's a very good swim indeed. Well, I think she can possibly go even faster if she can just try and spot the wall. Difficult to do when you've got your head down. Great discipline did Sophie have inside that last 15, keeping her head down very fast. That keeps your body nice and flat. And Sophie King, first time sub 28. Well done, 27.92. Singer second, Sharrett third.
A little bit of trivia for you, Andy, here.
Oh.
In future quiz questions. Seren means star in Welsh.
Star? Love it. Love it. We have to pose these as quiz questions and just give people a little bit of time at home to come up with the answers. I need to give your Twitter. It's not called Twitter anymore. It's called X, isn't it? Yeah, X. We need to give your X address or whatever it is, so people can send you the answers.
Take your marks.
Shannon Stott in 4, Charlotte Smith in 5, Georgia Pease in 6 of Bath. This is Heat 7, the last of the uncycle seeded heats. Medley Collier right at the top there from Repton. What a meet they're having. And in 2, it looks like Millie Harris of West Norfolk is going very well with about 15 metres to go in the 7th heat of the women's 50 metres butterfly. Stott coming through now in 4 in the red hat, and it looks like it is 2 and 4. Who's going to get the touch? I think it is 2. 27.56 for Millie Harris. Well, she was seeded 28.2, so she's just gone... how many is that? 0.7 of a second lifetime best. Wow, that's great.
I could be mistaken here, Andy, because we are watching 10 swimmers, but I'm pretty sure Millie's swum that whole length without breathing.
Well, that's very Ben Proud-esque, and if she's done that, and that is proper discipline. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Here's the results of the women's 50 fly heat 7. Harris winning it, Shannon Stott from Sheffield in 2nd, and Charlotte Smith 3rd.
So now the fastest 3 heats come, and this is going to be exciting. We've got Blythe Kinsman in lane 4, Georgina Pryor in 5, Isabella Ocaro. What a dynasty, the Ocaro family are very quietly but very quickly setting up. Mum presented the medals last night. Her sister Eva, who won the 50. Here's Isabella. Golly, what a family. She won I think she won the B final of the 50, didn't she? She was certainly in it.
Take your marks.
Heat 8. Women's 50 fly here at the 2025 British Aquatic GB Championships. And this is, well, it's a very quick first 25 here.
Yeah, all the girls in a line. All the girls, again, had a really good start. The starts are fantastic this morning, but we are seeing lane 4, Blythe Kingsman, pulling through a little bit. She's looking strong in this last 10.
Well, Kinsman won gold at the European Juniors on that mixed medley relay. Great fun that was, and that's a good swim from her. She can go faster. Didn't quite spot the finish and still went 27.11, which is just outside of her lifetime best, but only just. And I think if she has a quick look at that start, look, she's done the job to make the final. I'm sure of that. She'll get through, but she can go even faster and certainly has a 26 point in her.
Yeah, maybe, we don't know. Maybe she did slow down a little bit. She might have had a good idea where she was. Winning that was Blythe Kingsman. She is on fire this week, Andy. Georgina Pryor, 2nd from Derby, and Rebecca Guy, 27.39 in 3rd.
Pryor on fire or Kinsman on fire?
All these girls are on fire this morning.
I love the way you say that. Fire. Fire, fire, fire. You remind me of Will.i.am. Fire, fire, fire. Here's Heat 9. Holly Widow's teammate of Blythe Kinsman, fastest seed into this one. So Mount Kelly doing something well this week, certainly. Look at that. So Widow's in 4. Theodora Taylor, super junior. She's in 5. Laura Stevens in 3. World champion 200 metres butterfly. There she is. See what she can do on the 50.
Take your marks.
Very good start from Holly Widow's, really quick reaction. Now let's see what Laura Stevens can do in lane 3. World champion 200 fly. What can she do on a 50?
Yeah, it is a bit different than a 50. Obviously, this is all about speed. 200 fly is about endurance, but Laura really is going out strong here. She's looking so great into this last 15.
Well, she does look fantastic, doesn't she? This is excellent stuff in lane number 3. Didn't have the best 200, but that's very good. 26.70. Well, it's a new lifetime best for a 50 metres butterfly for the world champion on the 200 fly. Laura Stevens. Theodora Taylor 2nd. Katie Clifton 3rd. And 4th was Abigail McInerney. So Stevens wins it from Clifton and Theodora Taylor. And it's mighty close, I've got to say. Big gap between 1st and 2nd, but then after that, there's some very close stuff. Laura Stevens swam really well. That's impressive.
Yeah, there is a big gap. You know, Laura took that comfortably. Kate Clifton 2nd and Theodora Taylor 3rd. Theodora's had such a busy week already, and I think she's got a few more swims to go.
Well, she does. She was a fantastic junior at the last European Junior Championships in Vilnius, Lithuania. Who's to say she's not going to go again this year? I'm sure she'll have a crack at it, and I'd love to see her get more medals. A bag for last time. Here we go, the final heat of the women's 50 metres butterfly. And right in the centre there, what a 50 freestyle she had last night, Eva Acaro. Qualified by rights for the individual 50 free at the World Championships this summer in Singapore on the team. Now she can have some fun. It's a new Olympic event, 50 metres fly. I wonder if we'll see her in the final of the Olympics, not only in a freestyle event, but in a fly event too. 3 years still to go to Los Angeles. Plenty of time.
Take your marks.
Well, the British record is 25.20, set back in 2014. I don't think they're going to get close to that, but who knows? Right in the centre, in lane 4, Okara going well. Good start to Sky Carter in 2.
Yeah, look at Okara. She's gone out very quick. She's nailed this first this 50.
Well, 5 metres to go, and it looks like it is Okara head down. Is she going to get a touch? She does. A good one. 26.57 wins it. 26.90 was 2nd. Those two, the only athletes under 27 seconds. Harriet Rogers of Loughborough 3rd in a 27.13. But, well, she's got the Olympic rings on that left wrist. And she can add a World Championship tattoo if she wants to. She's going to Singapore.
Yeah, you know, these girls are swimming great this morning, and it's a lovely atmosphere here this morning. It's not bouncing atmosphere, which it will be a lot more tonight. But thinking towards what LA is going to be like, I've heard rumours that the LA stadium, I think it's going to hold, I think it's 40,000-seater stadium it's going to be in.
At least it's going to be, and I think it's in the massive football stadium right by the Forum. I don't know which team plays there. I should know. Is it the Raiders or the Rams or someone? But I think the Olympics is going to be switched around. So swimming is going to be 2nd. So they're going to have the opening ceremony in that massive stadium, and then de-rig it, and then build a swimming pool. So in the 2nd week of the Olympics, they're going to have a massive crowd. How exciting is that going to be?
Yeah, that is exciting, and usually.
Yeah, sorry, I just cut you off there. I was just going to read the results of that final heat. Apologies, Dan, but we'll come back to that in a second. Usually something, so we'll see what you were going to say usually. Eva Akara wins that final heat, 26.57. Schlossen 2nd, Rogers 3rd, Carter 4th. So it looks like 27 low is going to get in. Let's have a look and see the qualifiers for that final. Here we go. Yes, 27.39's made it in. So Okaro fastest in by 13/100ths from Laura Stevens, the world champion on the 200 fly. Schlossen's in there. Kinsman's in there. Clifton, Rogers, Pryor. Rebecca Guy did really well to make it in as well. Theodora Taylor will be in that junior final, as will Sky Carter. 3/100ths of a second splitting those two. Great rivalry those two ladies have got. And so, well, in this evening's final session, there's of course there's the B final, and then there's the junior final, there's the big A final, and there's the para final. So going back to the Olympics, I don't know if you remember, it's probably slightly unfair, but usually something was going to happen.
It's okay, yeah, usually swimming is the first week.
Absolutely right.
So it'd be interesting in LA, the Olympics will be well into the swing of things, so it will be interesting to see how that will affect the swimmers, because they'll have momentum already. Team GB will already have momentum before the swimming even starts.
Say that again. They'll have what?
Momentum.
Love it. I tell you what, I've never commentated with a proper Welshman before. This is great. Dear me, I need to get out more. Great fun. It's fantastic having you in the commentary box, Dan, and leading the way here. Men's 100 fly, James Guy's got the British record set back in 2017 in Budapest in that World Championships when he got the bronze medal. 50.6. Good heavens. That's fast. 8 heats of this men's 100 fly. And I can tell you that there's quite a few para-athletes in this race, and Paul Noble has joined us in the commentary box again to take us through it.
Cheers, Andy. You've got a Scot now, as well as a Welshman. No luck this morning for you.
Well, add the Englishman to get diversity and inclusion, but it's good to see. Over to you, Paul.
We've got 2 non-para athletes in the centre. That's Lewis Mitchell and Achilles Bello-Ormeno. The rest are para athletes. 2 S10s in the outside lanes, Rowan Brennan and Zach Sturgis. And the others are S14s. In fact, no one in lane number 4. So there's only 1 non-para athlete in this one. Again, very tough standard for the para athletes to achieve those qualification standards for Singapore. We only had 7 so far in the competition over the first few days. Only 18 spots up for grabs for the para athletes, so we're pretty much on course at the halfway point. 7 people have made those qualification times, and certainly some people haven't even started for their best events yet, so a lot of para athletes to watch out for. So out in front of the field, it is a non-para athlete, Achilles Bello-Ormeno, as we might have expected, and might be a swimmer 1 lane down from him, Harry Stewart from Plymouth, maybe the top of the S14 athletes in the para event. Bello-Ormeno comes in 56.38, and that's a very good time. First time under 57 seconds for him. Harry Stewart, in fact, Mark Tomsett, who was in very good form yesterday in the backstroke, setting that European record, he comes in 1 minute 0.41. So well done, Mark. Swimmer very much on form. And Harry Stewart follows him home as well. So the 2 Paralympians from Paris, Mark Tomsett and Harry Stewart, in 2nd and 3rd place to the wall. Of course, it's all about points for the para athletes, and we'll get the summary of those para athletes later on after conclusion of all the heats. But Achilles Bello-Ormeno led them home there. Good swim from the Guildford City swimmer Mark Tomsett, and Harry Stewart and Jude Gunner should be safely into the final. The young S14, the new up-and-coming potential star Jason van der Merwe, had a good swim just under the 101. Top of the S10, Zach Sturgis, 101.88, so he'll be pleased with that time.
Thank you, Paul. So heat 2 now of the men's 100 metres butterfly. And the para athletes, well, they'll certainly be going through to that para final this evening on this men's 100 fly. Joseph Swart of University of Surrey Swimming Club, lane number 4, the fastest seed, with Ryan Hardy of Mount Kelly in 5 and his teammate in 6. His teammate in 6 is Alessandro Donofrio. So the fastest seed is Swart in 4, and 3 is Howden, 2 is Chesworth. And, well, a decent start in 3. It is Lewis Howden of Beverley Barracudas. Right at the top there, and 1 in the red hat. Just 1 lane from the end is Jensen Norris of Perth City Swim Club. And a very good first 30 metres or so from him, the red hat.
Yeah, great start from the top 4 lanes, I noticed, but Howden and in 5 really had the best 50 there.
Well, he did have a good one, but a really good turn from lane 6. That's Donofrio of Mount Kelly. Still going well up the top there in the red hat, though, is Jensen Norris of Perth City. Looks like he's making a move here inside this last 25, breathing every stroke. Now he's put his head down there. Keep your head down, keep flat. Lovely swim, 55.30 off a 56 flat lifetime best. So that's a 7/10 of a second lifetime best from the winner there, Jensen Norris of Perth City. Second, Ryan Hardy, super celebration. Good lad, that's the way to do it. High fives as well. Very good. I like that. That's a proper result.
Yeah, and it's great to see that high five, because that just shows great sportsmanship. Now, we see the results of the men's heat 2. Jensen Norris, fantastic dive, fantastic finish to win that. Ryan Hardy second, and Alessandro from Mount Kelly third.
.55.3, and it's only heat 2. Heavens. It's getting fast. 2 lads from Mount Kelly, 0.06 of a second splitting the 2 of them. Wow, that was close. 2 lifetime best for both of them. No, well done. Huge ones as well. This is heat 3. Men's 100 fly. Matthew Holland of Wolverhampton, fastest seed in 4, with Chennels of University of Nottingham in 5. Ethan Soppet Moss of Corby in 6. Gabriel Knight in 7 for Chelsea. Chelsea and Westminster having quietly a very good meet here as well. So heat 3, only 8 heats of this women's, excuse me, gentlemen. Heat 3 of the men's 100 metres butterfly. Matt Holland of Wolverhampton in lane 4. Probably the best start coming from lane 6. I think it was Ethan Soppet Moss of Corby.
Yeah, very strong, and also next to him from Chelsea and Westminster, Gabriel Knight. You know, we're not too far away from home for them. We're in Stratford right now. Chelsea and Westminster's not too far.
Distance, no. Time. You could probably get to Perth City just as quick, but there we go. It'd take you about an hour, I'd imagine, to get there. I'm not sure what the flight time is from City Airport to Perth, but it's probably not too different. So in lane 7, he's still going well, Dan, is Gabriel Knight of Chelsea Westminster in the blue hat closer to us. There he is. 1 lane up is Soppet Moss of Corby. I think he's going to get the touch, Gabriel Knight. He does. 55.01 off a 56.6 lifetime best. 1.5 seconds. Come on. Well done. There you go. There's a smile. Wow. Well, coach at Chelsea and Westminster has done really well.
Yeah, she's great. Lisa is lovely. She's been on multiple Olympic teams. She was Lisa Bates, sorry. She's been on multiple Olympic teams. She was on the Tokyo and the Paris, and she's lovely. And she's very knowledgeable, as you have to be as a coach.
Well, the swimmer's done really well. 1.5 second, 1.6 to be clear. Gabriel Knight, lifetime best. Well done, sir. Charlie Tom's also super lifetime best from him. 2 100s ahead of Ethan Soppet Moss. He's smashed his best. This is really exciting. What is fascinating is the qualification times for these championships, the same as the Olympic trials last year. Normally you'd expect loads of people to be going for the Olympic trials. 15% increase in entries off the same qualification time, even though this is the year after the Olympics. Highly unusual and very exciting for Aquatics GB. Sansom in 4. That's Thomas Sansom, the Loughborough University student. In 5, it's Antonio Rodriguez in the green hat of Swansea. And the green hat of Swansea had a cracking start there.
Yeah, he did. You know, I was speaking to Stuart McNary, so he's one of the head coaches of Swansea University. He is abs coach, and I know they work on the undulation in Swansea, so
Is it what, coach?
He's one of the head coaches in Swansea University. Swimwear's High Performance Centre, sorry. I know he's abs coach, so he talks a lot about the undulation, the underwater element of the butterfly fly kick. So the main aim is the maximum propulsion to minimise resistance.
Well, maximising propulsion and minimising resistance. Well, if you're going to do that, you need to stick your head down a little bit to see if you can breathe at least twos. And when your head is down, you can keep that body nice and flat. Lane number 2, Dion Edwards. Wow, that's a fantastic swim from the swimmer from Wales.
Yeah, Nofio Gwynedd, that's North Wales. That's where Medley Harris started.
Well, Medley Harris, wish her our very best. Taking a little bit of time off this year, but really looking forward to having her come back and join us. Lovely lady. Spoke to her in the commentary box once. She's absolutely lovely. Looking forward to her back on the British team and back in amongst the medals next year. Commonwealth Games, very exciting. Representing Wales, she'll be there up in Glasgow. 55.4 from Edwards. Shepherd second. 55.7. First 4 sub-56s. And with the fastest entry time there of a 56.0. Huge number of lifetime bests. The top 6 at least did lifetime best there. That's amazing. Heat 5 of 8, the last of the unseeded heats, uncycle seeded. Well, this men's 100 fly. Llewellyn Porter of Camden, fastest seed in 4. And 3, it's Lennox. Kieran Lennox even, of University of Aberdeen. Luke Greenbank in 2. Men's 100 fly. Olympic bronze medalist, 200 back. Having a crack at the 100 fly. This will be interesting. Up there in 2. Well, a lot of the Olympians making sure that they can have a bit of fun. It is the year after the Olympics. They've gone through quite a lot of Olympic cycles, and swimmers like certainly Duncan Scott doing some fun events like 200 fly down.
Yeah, Duncan's idea of fun and my idea of fun are very different, Andy.
You and me both, mate.
But yeah, you know, it is a sensible thing after an Olympics to have a bit of time off. And I don't blame them, you know. You spend so much time just focusing on one event, and when it's over, you just feel as if you just need to step back and just live a bit of a normal life for a second.
Well, he's having a lot of fun up there in lane 2, you know. Lane 0 right at the top, and look at this black cat of Luke Greenbank. He's going very well. 6 on the 100 metres backstroke, but I think he swam that really well, you know. He's not that far off his lifetime best. So he's on good form here. Head down, good discipline. Great finish. 53.4 off a 54 flat lifetime best. Wow. Well, that's not one of the fastest cycle seeded heats. That the next 30 the 30 fastest swimmers in Britain in the next 3 heats, and well, that's going to stick the cat among the tortoises, isn't it? That really is.
Yeah, it took me by surprise seeing Luke then. You don't often see him do butterfly, but he did win that heat 5. The great time of 53.47. Second, Aidan Kay. Third, Samuel Sutcliffe.
Luke Greenbank, 53.47. Who knew? So heat 6 of the men's 100 metres butterfly, and we've got William Ellard, the S14 in lane 1, and so Paul joining us again, Paul Noble, for this. And last year's champion Joe Litchfield going in lane number 4 with Lewis Fraser in 5, Jack Brown in 3. Looking forward to, well, all over the pool, races within races here. Litchfield in 4, the last winner of the Olympic trials. Ellard in 1. First of the cycle seeded heats in this men's 100 metres butterfly, and Joe Litchfield won the Olympic trials, but only 3rd fastest into this field. And Paul, William Ellard up there in lane number 1. What can he do here?
Yeah, we saw him equal his own world record in the 100 freestyle yesterday. He'll be looking to try and break the British record, which is also the European record in this 100 butterfly today, and get under that qualification standard. So we'll watch his progress.
Well, Lewis Fraser very quick to 50, 24.56. That's excellent, with Joe Litchfield in second. Litchfield had by far the better turn, though, an excellent turn from him. And so this is going to be very interesting to see if he can get close to that 52 flat or better. 51.7 is his lifetime best. This is good. Coming back is Brown of Plymouth in 3. Brown's looking very good in 3, really charging inside that last 25 metres. He won it. Wow. 52.5 came from nowhere, Jack Brown. Brown in 3 first, second in 4 was Litchfield, 5 was Lewis in 3rd, and Paul Noble. Give us an update on William Ellard up there in 1.
Yeah, 56.81 for Will Ellard, so he is outside that record mark, outside the qualification standard. Maybe feeling a little bit of the pace from last night. Could be disappointed with that. He's been on great form here the last couple of days. And 56.81, I'm sure he'll improve on that when they get to the final, the para-final tonight.
So there's confirmation of the results. A great second 50 and certainly last 25 from Jack Brown in lane 3. Litchfield second, Lewis Fraser third. Fourth, Josh Curlew. He won't be able to progress being an international athlete. So it's all British swimmers into the finals this evening. Josh Gammon, last year's silver medalist in lane number 4, and this is the second last heat of the men's 100 metres fly. Didn't quite make the Olympic team, but I wonder whether he can have a crack here at the World Championship team. It'd be great to see him go quick here. The second last heat of the men's 100 fly. Gammon in 4. In 3, it's Jamie Robinson. In 5, Jamie Ingram of Manchester. He's quick with that new squad there. That'll be interesting to see how he goes down this 100 metres fly.
Great start from Josh Gammon there, and I was watching him before he got in the pool, and he just looked at the pool and he was like, yeah, this is mine. But you can just see him there. He's really pulling out ahead. How is he going to do going into this first turn? He finished at the end of a stroke, which is the ideal, which is what you want to do. Great underwater work, using all of that underwater. You can't go past 15.
Well, Adama up there in lane number 2. He's going well. It's coming back now is Josh Gammon, and this is going to be very interesting to see how quick he can go. Is he going to go anywhere near that 52 flat? Can he get the touch? I think he does, yes. 52.6. So job done, solid. He'll certainly be in a centre lane in the final. His lifetime best 51.6, so that would have been relatively comfortable, I think and hope, for Gammon there. So 52.51. Jack Brown in that previous heat is the fastest so far, with 1 heat to go. And here's confirmation of the result of that second last heat. Josh Gammon wins it from Jamie Robertson second, Jamie Ingram third. Abdul-Jabbar Adama of Mount Kelly, he swam well. He was right there with about 15 metres to go. 53.58. Huge lifetime best from him as well. 0.7 of a second, that's very good. Robuff and Keating, distance freestyle, but probably better known, but 54.3, that's great.
Distance freestyle, you wouldn't see me going from distance freestyle to 100 fly. Here we see heat 8, final heat of this event. Jacob Peters 31 bronze in the 100 fly in this event last year.
Big heat, final heat, 100 fly. Peters, Paris Olympian, in lane 4, also went to Tokyo. What can he do here? 51.1 lifetime best. Actually, I think he might, excuse me, I think he was third at the trials, wasn't he, Jacob Peters? So apologies there, but he certainly was Olympian in Tokyo. And very quick now. Let's see what he can do here. His lifetime best is excellent, 51.1. Yes, remembering back to that Olympic trial, he didn't quite hit his straps in the final, which is what it is now, but he's got 12 months to sort it out, and he looks very good down this first 50. Excellent first to turn.
Yeah, so does Ed Mildred now. The other day, Ed won the silver in the 200-metre fly, but we are seeing Jacob take the lead quite strong in this second 50, but Jacob isn't letting him go. Ed, sorry, isn't letting him go.
Well, Ed's not letting Jacob go, and these two, Ed and Jacob, looking very good indeed. Jacob in 4, the top of those two guys. It looks like Ed Mildred just overtaking a little bit. Is he? Who's going to get the touch? Oh, I tell you what, it's very close. Wow. 11 100ths of a second splitting those top two. Ed Mildred gets the touch, 51.7. That's the fastest so far, and I think that's a lifetime best. 51.75 for Mildred off a 51.79 lifetime best. So Mildred wins it. Second was Peters, 51.8. That's job done and very good. And Nick Finch in third. So that was the last heat. And delighted to be joined by the winner of the previous heat, Josh Gammon. Josh, well done. How did that go for you?
Yeah, it was a good swim. Just got the job done this morning. So come back and have a second swim.
And what are you looking for this evening? You've just seen that last heat go 51.7, 51.8. So they're pretty quick, a little bit quicker than you. What are you looking for this evening?
Well, I mean, for me personally, it's always I'm always so much quicker in the evening. So this morning was just about kind of nailing that process and just getting the job done, getting a second swim for tonight.
Well, you'll be, I think, in lane 2. And I think you'll be between Nick Finch, is that right, in 3, and then in lane 1 outside of you is that Brodie Gordon-Gibson. So you'll have some big guys in the centre on the other side of the field. How are you going to swim that final this evening compared to what you did this morning?
Well, just kind of improve on every area, really. Kind of faster out and hopefully faster back. Yeah, so no real game plan, but just definitely quicker than this morning.
And a lot of swimmers talk about their super strengths. What is your super strength on a 100 fly? Because you're a cracking 100 fly swimmer. I've got to say, as a 100 fly swimmer, I love watching you swim. What would you say is your super strength on a 100 fly?
I'm not too sure, actually. It's a good question. I mean, obviously, I've got that 200 background, so I always thought my back end was quite strong. Underwaters are always been pretty enjoyable for me to train, so I've always kind of utilised that as much as possible. Obviously, underwaters are so important. So yeah, I would say probably those two aspects, but obviously, you know, they are my strengths, but you know, you can always improve and get a little bit better. So.
Well, it's great to hear that you swim much faster in the final. You will be watching lane 2 very, very closely this evening. We'll let you go and swim down, but thank you so much for joining us in the commentary box and hearing that insight into how that went.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
Good luck tonight, Josh. And there's the para summary for the final of the para races. William Ellard, 867 points. A fantastic heat from him. He can go a lot faster as well tonight, so that'll be interesting to see how he gets in that final. Thompson's in there, Stewart's in there as well. And straight into the next race. It is the women's 400 metres freestyle, the first heat of which is full of para swimmers. There's 4 lanes being used, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And great to be joined again by Paul Noble, 5 times Paralympian, to take us through this first heat of the women's 400 freestyle.
There is 4 swimmers in this heat. First of 11 heats of the 400 freestyle. So sit back to enjoy these 11 races. And the first one's all para swimmers. 2 in the S9 classification and 2 in the S11. So right up there at the top is Isabella Haynes from Swim Bournemouth. Yeah, 17-year-old. In fact, she's only actually 16, just 17 this year. Evie Lambert, who's also in the S9 classification. She is another one of these young swimmers. Again, just 17 years of age. And the 2 Humphreys twins are closest to us in lanes 5 and 6. Just out of the picture at the moment. Scarlett Humphrey is the British record holder. She goes in lane number 5 in the bottom of those 2 yellow marked lanes, and Eliza Humphrey in lane number 6. Her twin sister was the British record holder in this one until Scarlett took that mark from her at the trials last year. I think it's when it changed hands between the Humphreys sisters. And both of these Humphreys sisters, of course, in the S11 classification. It's quite a good example, the two S9 swimmers, how the classification works. Evie Lambert, an arm amputee. Isabella Haynes, a leg amputee, but they're both in the S9 classification. It's classifications are worked out on points, so you don't have to be particularly the same impairment, but it's within a points range if you're in that classification. And Dan, you're, of course, distance freestyle, your speciality.
Yes, I've done a fair few 400s in my time, but Paul, I'm looking here, Scarlett Humphrey and Eliza Humphrey. They're twins, you said. Do you think there's a little bit of rivalry going on in this race?
Oh, I think so, yes. They are very much rivals. Eliza had this 400 record for a couple of years, but Scarlett has been the one that's really stepped up over the last couple of years. Eliza still has the longer distance records, the 800 and the 1500, 400 individual medley, but Scarlett has probably gone past her in all of these other events.
Okay, well, that's really interesting to hear, actually, and you know, we are seeing Scarlett take the lead from Eliza a little bit. I wonder how, if one does really well and maybe the other doesn't do as well as she wants, I wonder if there will be a bit of a sore subject over lunch today.
No, I think they're pretty close, these two, the two Humphreys twins. They're both in the S11 class. It's interesting, Dan. I mean, how did you swim? How do you think you would cope if you had to wear blacked out goggles over a 400 freestyle? You can't see anything at all, and you just see Scarlett Humphrey there just skirting the lane rope, trying to avoid hitting that lane rope, because they're pretty unforgiving, these lane ropes, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it is. And these girls are not moving slow, they are flying through the water. So when you're dragging against these lane ropes, it's like a cheese grater, Paul.
Absolutely. And there's the tapper. You've got to put a lot of trust into these tapping sticks there, and your tappers at the end of the lanes. It's mum and dad for the Humphreys. And I do remember announcing once a competition back in Sheffield, actually, saying, oh, it's a very important job for these tappers, very important. If they get it wrong, you know, it could be disaster for the swimmers. And the Humphreys mum came up and said, please don't say that. It puts so much pressure on us when we can hear you in the arena and the swimmers are coming in. But yeah, really, really important job for the tappers, because if you get that turn wrong, there's just no recovering from it, is there? It stops you absolutely dead.
Absolutely. And I just heard you say they swim in with blacked out goggles on. Well, how do they train for that? Because I can't imagine what that would be like, especially in water, in doing a 400.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stroke counting, obviously. And obviously you get the tappers as well at the end of the lane to help you. I'm not sure if they train with tappers all the time in the lanes, but possibly in training they might have to. If they're in the, I'm not sure if they're in with a squad or if they're in on their own. I mean, it's quite a commitment for a club to give the swimmers a lane on their own. But yeah, they have absolutely no vision at all, and they are real stars of para swimming, these Humphreys twins. The last length now for the two S9s, and this is a good battle, isn't it? Isabella Haynes and Evie Lambert. I wonder who's going to take this one, the two S9 swimmers. Two youngsters. Evie Lambert with the better kick. Isabella Haynes, a leg amputee. And Lambert maybe with the edge in these closing stages here as she comes through. Isabella Haynes is just going to be pipped by Evie Lambert. Let's have a check of the times here. Entry times of 5:13 for Evie Lambert, just outside that. Isabella Haynes, big improvement from her. And let's see what Scarlett Humphrey can do here. Her British record for Scarlett Humphrey is 5:22, so she's going to be outside that today, but expect her to go a little bit faster tonight in the final. 5:36 for Scarlett and 5:39 for Eliza. You fancy having a go at the blacked out goggles swim, Dan?
I'd have a go. I can't say I'd be as good as these girls, though.
It does take a lot of practice, a lot of training to be as good as Scarlett and Eliza Humphrey, both in the Paralympic team last year. Scarlett qualified in the Paralympic team for 2 or 3 events but the 400 was the one that Eliza made that team, and it was quite an emotional moment when she made that qualifying time.
I can imagine. What an achievement. And I'm seeing Evie Lambert here, the person who just saw on the camera, and she was up last night. So I feel as if I see her all the time swimming. She's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of the para swimmers do multiple events here. A lot of the youngsters especially. Evie Lambert just 17 years of age, so it's good to see her making progress. And Isabella Haynes as well has been on the para swimming scene for the junior swimmers for a number of years now, and that's a big improvement for her. 10-second improvement here in the heats this morning. So we're waiting. The black top goggles have got to be checked here before the results have been made official for the two Humphrey sisters, so that's why there's a little bit of a delay.
I'll tell you what, Paul, I think it'd be fascinating for able-bodied swimmers to actually try swimming with blacked-out goggles. I think that'd be fascinating.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. I think it'd be very good because I have no idea what it would be like, and it is very important because we are swimming with these swimmers, you know, and so it would be very important for us to have some idea what that would be like.
Can I tell you, it's my idea of absolute horror, not being able to see anything. Must be a really properly fascinating experience.
Yeah, we were saying in commentary there, Andy, real trust you've got to have on the tappers and trust in your own ability as well. But even the top performers in the S11 class, you see them bouncing around the lane rope sometimes. They just lose direction. And won't be the first time we've seen an S11 swimmer come up in the wrong lane at the national competitions. That's always quite a scary prospect there.
What would happen then? Does that mean disqualification?
No, well, if they interfere with other swimmers, it could be a disqualification, but if they're able to sort themselves out, and that's where the tappers come into it. I've seen swimmers in the S11 class pop up, just get the direction wrong off the dive, pop up in the wrong lane, but the tappers have been able to give them a signal to get back into their own lane. It was a breaststroke event, I do remember. One of the swimmers came up in the wrong lane, and she was swimming, an S11 swimmer, popped up in front of another breaststroke swimmer in the SB5 classification, and I remember the SB5 swimmer thinking, oh my goodness, this S11 swimmer's come in front of me. I'm not as fast as her, but what's going to happen when she turns and she comes back straight towards me? Thankfully it didn't happen because she got sorted out and she went into the right lane. But yeah, the S11 swimmers are always interesting to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. And do you find there's a big difference? We talk about stroke counting. Now, I always found that I had a good idea what my stroke count was. I'm talking about my 1500 now. But I always found that during the bigger competitions like Olympics, Commonwealth Games, World Championships, sometimes that stroke count would change because adrenaline, the environment, does speed everything up. That must be very hard for these swimmers in S11.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's where the tappers come into it as well. If you get your stroke count wrong, maybe you expect to be in the turn, but you just got to trust that the tappers are there. The race here has 4 non-para swimmers in the middle lanes, Dan, and 6 para swimmers in the outside lanes here. And Faye Rogers back in again in lane number 2, and she's a world record breaker from a couple of days ago in the 200 fly in the S10 class.
Yeah, absolutely amazing swim from Faye, and made my debut in this job very exciting. Thank you, Faye. Can I just bring up lane number 3 here? Phoebe Lawton. She's going into this race. She's 14 years old. Also, lane 9 is 14 years old as well. This is daunting to swim in a pool like this, lights like this at that age. I don't think I could have done it.
Yeah, the innocence of youth. They just step up and deliver the goods on the big stage. I think Brooklyn Hare was talking to yourself and Andy the other day, wasn't she? The swimmer from Cockermouth, the young swimmer, and she's done well this week.
She was a lovely character, I have to say. I was talking to her with a coach, and he's a superstar as well. What those guys achieve in that Cockermouth, the whole programme there, it's I'll be slightly rude and say it's quite an old pool. but they keep it beautifully. It's spotlessly clean, and the whole team, everything, the coaches, the people who keep it administered, the cleaning, everything. It's so professional. It's wonderful, and the quality of results they get out of such a small program, off the scale, brilliant. Cockermouth Swimming Club up there in Cumbria, outstanding.
Was it Luke Greenbank started up there?
Yeah,
he's not done bad.
Yeah, no, Sean Bulmer's the coach. I definitely shout him out, but I know he's got a great team behind him. But what that Cockermouth Swimming Club achieves is utterly phenomenal. It really is.
Well, coming down to 300 range, the para swimmers in the outside lanes. Kellyanne Warrington going through there. Brock Whiston. Well, watch out for Brock. She was a Paralympic champion last year. Brock Whiston in the individual medley. And she'll be hoping to try and dip under that qualification standard in this 400 freestyle. We'll keep an eye on Brock in lane number 1. It's coming down now to the last half length here. It's a little bit of a head-to-head here between Phoebe Lawton, the youngsters you spoke about, Dan, Emily Maxwell. These are fighting it out at the front of the field. Non-para swimmers, 4:31. Phoebe Lawton's best time prior to this, and Emily Maxwell, 4:28. And both inside 4:28. Well done to those two swimmers. Eva Ives in second, Clara Guinness in third. There's Faye Rogers, the record breaker from a couple of days ago. 4:38 for Faye Rogers, 4:38.50 for her, so she's just outside the qualification time. Watch Astrid Carroll and Brock Whiston here. Astrid Carroll, the S12 swimmer, and Brock Whiston, the experienced Paralympic champion in the 200 IM. Astrid Carroll just gets the touch. 5:04 for Brock Whiston. Again, just outside that qualification time for Singapore for the World Para Championships. Amber Haycock will be the final swimmer to finish. And para swimmers again, it will all be calculated on points as to which para swimmer makes it into those para finals. But a good swim there at the front of the field. Emily Maxwell and Phoebe Lawton very close, only separated by 4/100ths of a second. It arrives in third, and Faye Rogers the best of the para swimmers, or the fastest of the para swimmers, with Astrid Carroll, Kellyanne Warrington following her home. Brock Whiston, Brooke Lonhale and Amber Haycock. We could see all of these in the para final a little bit later on. So we'll get a summary of the points as we come to the end of these 11 heats, with just heat number 3 now.
Thank you, Paul. So it is heat 3 of the women's 400 freestyle. There's 11 heats of this 400 free. I have to say, I didn't expect there to be 11 heats. They kept the qualification pretty much exactly the same as the Olympic trials last year, and suddenly we've got over 100 entries. It's amazing in this women's 400 freestyle. It really is. So this is heat 3. Benjamin Belt of Plymouth College Aquatics. New program there. That's the college and the swim team in Plymouth just split after, what, 25 years have been together. Fantastic alumni. Laura Stevens, Ben Proud, Ruta Melatite, Honey Osmond, Josh Gammon, many more. And the Plymouth College Aquatics, of course, now run by Roberto Pavoni, the Olympian. So this is heat 3 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Evangeline Belt of Plymouth College Aquatics is in lane 4. Iris Hurst of Warrington in 5. Journey Dunn, City of Liverpool in 6. And their distance programme, City of Liverpool. We're watching that men's 1500 metres freestyle last night, Dan. It was heat after heat after heat, and they were right in the hunt, if not winning the heat. So they were doing that too.
Yeah, definitely. They obviously have a great distance program up there in Liverpool. It's great to see, because training distance can be a very lonely thing to do, because it is day in, day night. You have to do long distance. So to have a couple of lads there, a couple of girls there with you doing the same as you does ease it up a little bit for you.
Well, it certainly does, and it's so important to make sure that you can keep the fun with whatever event you do. And keeping the fun, I think a lot of the big swimmers here, you know, somebody like James Guy, somebody like Duncan Scott, Matt Richards, trying to make sure that they keep on having fun as they enter another Olympic cycle. Can those guys go 3 Olympic titles in a row on that men's 4x200 freestyle relay? I think for the first time in history, a relay won gold, Olympic after Olympic, 2 consecutive Olympic Games with exactly the same team members in the team. That British team from Tokyo into Paris, exactly the same team members in the final, won gold. Of course, we had a couple of extra guys helping them get through. Jack McMillan, I think, in the heats, and Kieran Bird, so they both got gold medals as well. And if they've done it for the first time in history from the Tokyo to Paris, if they can do 3 in a row, that must be a record that would never be broken again.
I think so, yeah. Well, I think the boys could do it. They're all in great shape already, and there's still 3.5 years to go. But I was there the day that they won that 4x2, and I can honestly say, Andy, it was one of... I've said this a few times this week. I've said it about Alice Thomas's race, but in that moment, that was one of the best races I've ever seen. I was going crazy watching that race.
I was as well. You know, it's an absolute joy when you do get in the commentary box, and now you know the feeling when you can see a British person clearly in the lead. I actually called the goal with 100 metres to go. I've got to tell you, there was no way anyone was going to catch Duncan Scott in that final. It was just one of those ones where you just go, oh, this is great. Don't have to stress about will we, won't we. It wasn't one of those Adam Peaty races where he was just so close. Who's going to get the touch? Just got pipped out on that. This time, of course, won 2 straight gold medals and then the silver. But, you know, it was just an absolute joy to see the parade, the procession, way out in front, and they won gold for the 2nd Olympics in a row.
Yeah, it was amazing to see. You know, just bringing us back to this heat 3 of the women's 400 freestyle. Charlotte Sorrell with 100 metres to go. She just done that 250 turn. She was 244. She was looking really good into this last 100. But Paul, I do have a question about the last heat. So we saw a few swimmers in the S11 category. Now, obviously, we know that S11 to S13 is for visually impaired. In the Paralympics, let's just say, will they be competing for the same medal, or will they be split into different categories?
No, they're all split into different categories. So we've got S1 to S14 for those para swimmers. And at the major championships, so Europeans, Worlds and Paralympics, they all have separate events. It's multi-classification here. Just basically, it's because of the numbers. You can't really have separate events for everyone, so that's why there's the multi-classification system has been developed to give everyone a chance to compete. But at Paralympics, yeah, there's separate classes, separate events for each of the different classifications within para swimming.
Well, final 25 of this, the 3rd heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle, and having a really good final 100 here, right at the bottom. In lane number 9, it is Charlotte Sorrell of City of Birmingham having a go in the centre there. Up in lane number 3, it's Charlotte Johnson. But look at that, Sorrell wins it 4:25.8 off a 4:30 entry time. Super swim from her in an outside lane, swam it really all on her own, and that's a great swim from the City of Birmingham's Charlotte Sorrell. She wins it. 2nd was Charlotte Johnson, up there in lane number 3, with Evangeline Belt coming 3rd. And all of those swimmers lifetime best again, so we just keep on pumping them out. It's like a PB machine here, isn't it, at the London Aquatics Centre? It really is. Some great swimming. Here we go, confirmation of the result of heat 3. Charlotte Sorrell winning it for City of Birmingham, 4:25.8. 2nd was Johnson, 3rd was Belt. Schultz from Mount Kelly, an international swimmer. Great to see them here swimming in these heats, the internationals, but it is a trial for 6 different competitions this summer, and so the British Swimming have decided they're going to close the finals to allow for maximum opportunity for experience for the British swimmers in those finals. Sensible thing to do, but also great to see the invitations for the internationals in the heats. Heat 4, women's 400 free. The full lineup: Louise Ashford of Maidenhead in 1, Heidi Corbett of Guildford in 2, Lola Burns of Bath in 3. Excuse me, I've got the lanes wrong here. 0 at the top, of course, isn't it? Not 1, so I'll start again. Louise Ashford in 0. In 1 it's Corbett, 2 is Burns, 3 is Coogan, 4 is Emmy Aitken of Aberdeen Performance, Katie Otterson in 5, Laura Lilly in 6 from Leeds, Laura Lilly from Leeds, Annabelle Cook, City of Sheffield in 7, and 8 it's Katie Roberts, City of Liverpool again, another of their distance programme. Goodness me, they're doing some good stuff there, aren't they? And Amelia Fenner, daughter of my old mate Martin. All right, Martin? He's from Basildon and Phoenix in lane 9. Swam really well earlier this week. And great to see him stick his nose over the balcony and have a good old chat. So, Dan, I've got to ask you about nutrition. And nutrition for distance swimmers. I mean, it's not easy to get right. So did you have a specific nutrition strategy for your 1500 metres, some distance event?
Well, you didn't want to be going into the 1500 full. You didn't. I've done that a few times, and when you get to about the 300 mark, you really are. You don't want to see it again, you know. But yeah, nutrition is super important. Every event is different, but I found for distance events, you wanted as much slow release energy as you possibly could. So what I would do the night before, I had like a set meal the night before. It was obviously spaghetti bolognese, which is a good one because I love spaghetti bolognese, you know. And I'd always have something quite light, like maybe porridge or like muesli the morning of, but it's essential you do not want to be too full before you dive in for a distance race.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is a mate of mine, Max Hodkinson, is about to do the Spanish marathon, the Madrid marathon, and he doesn't eat fruit, but he says he does eat smoothies. I said, why on earth do you not eat fruit? And he said, well, I don't know, I just don't eat fruit. As a distance performer, top of the world, have you ever heard of somebody not eating fruit?
No, I haven't. I definitely have my 5 a day, Max. I even put fruit in my salad sometimes.
Well, if you're watching, Max Hodkinson, eat your fruit, mate. Coming from Dan the Rocket. It's very, very important indeed. It really is. I mean, it is interesting nutrition, isn't it? It was. I think it still goes pretty underrated as an element. I mean, you wouldn't put 4-stroke, 4-star petrol diesel in an F1 car. Not a chance. So why would you put junk in your body if you're going to try and perform at the highest level?
That's a very good way of putting it. You've got to think of your body as a vehicle. You've got to fuel that body right. And now, especially in these distance events, if you were thinking of going on a long road trip, you wouldn't fill your car up with half a tank of fuel, would you? You'd want to fill it up with the right fuel. Obviously, you don't want to be full diving in for the race, as we've already said. But fortunately, in Aquatics GB, we do have an amazing nutritionist. We have a few, but I'm talking about Rich Cheshire. Now, he was the one that really guided me in nutrition throughout the latter years of my career. I really relied on him, and it was great because even when we weren't in competition, I would always hit I'd always hit Rich up about nutrition and what would be the best thing, what would be the best supplements to use, and I know I'd get a very clear, precise answer from Rich.
Well, it is so important, and so many little tricks as well. I mean, I have to say, when I swam between the heats and the finals, my Olympics, there was 36 hours between the heats and the finals, and it was a long time to think about the fact that I was fastest in the world in the after the Olympic heats, and then you had to wait 36 hours for the final, and it plays all sorts of funny games with your time, and it just sort of shrinks. It goes nice, it's horribly tight, and then what do you do? Because you're just not hungry, you can't eat anything. And the trick would have been, I wish I'd known and I didn't at the time, but now I do. I still swam best time in the final, so that was fine. But I wish I'd known fluid. You can have fluid food. You can have. Did you do much fluid food? Maybe explain what fluid food is. Liquids.
Yeah, sometimes. I think the most important thing as an athlete is you just got to drink a lot of water. You need to be hydrated, because if you're not hydrated, you can sometimes feel as if you're diving in, and because you're so dehydrated, you're like a raisin.
Speak for yourself, mate. Well, get some carbohydrates in there. There's some very, very good liquid liquid food that you can get these days, and much easier to drink than it is necessarily to chew and swallow when you're super nervous. So there's the result of Heat 4 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Katie Otterson wins it, 4:27.5 from Heidi Corbett second, 4:27.8. Third, Annabelle Cook of City of Sheffield, with Katie Roberts in fourth for the City of Liverpool. So Heat 5 of 11 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. The last two heats, 10 and 11, are cycle seeded, so they split the fastest 20 swimmers in Britain equally amongst those two heats, so you don't get all the fastest ones in the last heat. This Heat 5, Grace Cummins of Thanet, the fastest seed in 4, Abby Mitchell in 5 from Swansea, Eleanor Kay of Bolton in 6, with Chloe Cook of Sheffield in 7. So getting towards the middle of this set of competitors for the women's 400 metres freestyle. An excellent set of entries. There really have been. Up there in lane number 3, it's Catherine Noble of Newcastle swim team. But a very fast first 30 metres or so. Attacking this 400 freestyle. Tactics for a 400. You've given us really great tactics for a 1500 metres down. What about tactics for a 400 metres freestyle? It's still, for us sprinters, it's still an awful long way.
It is an awful long way, but it's weird, because thinking about the 1500, as a 1500 swimmer myself, I look at 400 as a little bit of a sprint. You know, you can't, in a 1500, you can dive in and you can not take the first 100, the first 300 easy. I'm not saying that at all, but you can relax into it. Now, a 400, if you do that tactic in a 400, the person in the lane next to you, they ain't waiting for you.
They're certainly not. Certainly not. We were talking about nutrition on the last on that last 400, and well, something that many of these athletes probably won't have experienced that much so far is the whole drug testing program, and how you make sure that you keep yourself prepared for a drug test from a nutrition perspective. Because if you go in super dehydrated, you've got some proper challenges.
Yeah, you do. And you know, we talk about supplements and things, and yeah, they're great. I always found that I'd rather have food instead of a supplement. I always found that was more helpful to me. Plus, it was cheaper, because some of the supplements are extortionate prices. But with these supplements, you always have to check. So there's a few websites, but there's a main website that you can check on. That is Informed Sport. You check on that. You check on for medication. Obviously, you check on Global Draw, which you can just find on the website online. But when it comes to drug testing, there's a list that comes out every January, an updated list. January 1st starts at the start of the year for the new list. Now, it doesn't often change, but when you get to a certain level, and later on in this event, we will see people like Holly Hibbert and Amelie Bloxage will probably, if not Amelie's not on it already, she will be on it very soon. You'll be on the World Anti-Doping Agency, and what that is, you have to, every day, you have to tell someone where you sleep and where you will be for 1 hour a day. Now, I was on this from August 2014 to about 2 months ago.
Wow. So, sorry, every day for 1 hour a day, or for every hour of the day?
Every day, 1 hour a day. So you have to say where you sleep, and you have to say where you are for 1 hour a day. So I knew from Monday to Friday, every single day, every week, Monday to Friday, I knew I was going to be in the national pool in Swansea from 2:30 till 3:30. That's where my pre-pool started. That's where I knew I was going to be there. And that means if anti-doping decided to drug test me on that day, I would have no idea that they come in.
A random drug test.
A completely random drug test. Now, that was my hour a day. If they came in that hour and I was there, perfect. I would do the drug test, all would be fine. If they turned up in that hour and I wasn't there, and they have to stay the hour, they have to stay the whole hour. If you don't turn up in that hour, you get a strike. And now, I don't know if it's been updated over the last few months, but I do know in the past, or when I was on it, if you get 3 strikes, you're banned. They do take that as, well, 3 missed tests, you're out of the game.
It sounds pretty brutal, but it's got to be the right way to do it, hasn't it? I mean, I suppose the one bit that I wish they would do is they give you a call. Do they give you a call to say, I'm at the pool, you've got an hour to get here?
Sometimes, depending how nice they are, but sometimes they're brutal and you don't get a call.
See, I honestly don't understand that bit. There's probably some scientific reason as to why not, but if you just didn't quite make it, or your car broke down or something, I don't quite know why they don't give you a call. But anyway, Natasha Dupree of Millfield winning this heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. It is heat 5, and she's gone really well. 4:25.02. That is a 4.6 second lifetime best for Natasha. Really good from her. In second, it was Chloe Cook of Sheffield. And in third, Petra Varga of Wirral up there in lane 1. So it's lanes 9 and then 7 and then 1. Natasha Dupree, Chloe Cook and Petra Varga. And lifetime best for all 3 of those athletes. Very good indeed. Well done. And we've been talking about the schools programme here. Here's Millfield school athlete. Very, very good. Confirmation of the results. A 4-second lifetime best for Natasha. Super stuff. Chloe second. Petra third. And Grace Cummins fourth. We'll just get back to that. That's a fascinating chat. There's some stuff I didn't actually know there. Maybe you'll know the answer to why they don't give you a call. There's probably some, I don't know, masking agent you can take if you wanted to, you know, decide that you wanted to hide something. But I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't have taken it anyway. Anyway, I'm not very good at the whole drug thing. Don't take it's a simple answer. And then you're in the clear. Interesting stuff in tennis, I have to say. I don't quite understand their 3-month ban for drug test violation, I think it was, by the Italian. Don't get that at all. This is heat 6 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Willow Harrison in lane 4 of Sheffield. The red hat there, standing up the fastest seed. So Skye, Austin Burrows of Rushmore in 0, and Wannets Chesters of City of Liverpool again, another one of their distance programme here. They've got a great squad, haven't they? Isabel Hall of Leeds in 2, and 3 it's Arundale of Bath, 4 Harrison of Sheffield, Alicia Massey, University of Surrey Swimming Club in 5, Lennox Evie Mackey in 6, Ellie Hull of Birmingham in 7, Mia Bursland of City of Liverpool, second Liverpool swimmer in this heat 6 of 11 heats of the women's 400 metres freestyle. She's in lane 8, closer to us when there's that wide shot, and then in 9 it's Amber Hinton of Dumfries. Did I guess right there in terms of the reason why they don't give you a call to give you a heads up that the random drug test is there?
I think you could have hit the nail on the head there. Now, I don't really know much about masking agents, to be honest with you. I didn't think I ever needed. I don't think I needed to know. I was never going to take a substance that was even risky, do you know? But yeah, you know, masking agents are a thing. So what they would do, they would hide the drug that has been taken. Awful. It's awful. And as an athlete, it's quite offensive as an athlete, actually, because you know, you expect you stand on that block 100% you. You like to stand on the block, look at let's say in the Olympics, be like, I have made it here by my own right, by my own strength, I've made it here. And you expect, I'm talking about the finals now as well, you expect the 7 other athletes in the race with you to be exactly the same. And, you know, we always had this saying, I'm not saying this was in Aquatics GB only, this could be worldwide, but when it comes to anti-doping, what goes in your body is your responsibility.
Well, it certainly is, and the doctors are very clear, very, very clear indeed. When you go to the Olympic Games, there's a team doctor, and they tell you, and they look in your eyes, and they tell you very clearly, and there's no questions, do not take anything without showing me first. And it's, you know, I just need an aspirin. No, no. Oh, yeah, but just an ibuprofen or whatever you got. No. What about some Benylin? Wrong. Gone. Benylin, done. You know, well, excuse me, you should be careful naming brands, but I believe that would tick you over if you took too much. But very, very clear, the doctor, in our time, I don't know if it was the same in yours.
Yeah, it was the same here.
Yeah, it's just like, almost like, you know, the proverbial gun to your head. You take something without showing me, good luck, buddy, but if you get done, I'm not looking after you. But just to be clear, I'm totally looking after you, because the answer is do not stick anything in your mouth without showing me.
Absolutely, and I had a bit of a process. So say now I had, let's say, a migraine or something, or I was coming up with, I had a cold or something. Before I would take anything, before I would even go to the shop and buy it, I would check an app called Globadraw. So you can put the ingredient in there, you can put the name of the brand in there, and it would say if it was legal in competition, if it was legal out of competition, or banned in both. And if it said it was fine to take, I would still call the Aquatics GB doctor, which currently is Kate Jordan, a world-class doctor, just to make sure that I was okay to take this.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say, I grew up in the time when the East Germans were doing their thing, and it was very difficult. Then it seemed to move to China for a while, but the East Germans, goodness me, Olympics in Moscow in '80. I think Great Britain suffered quite significantly there. Of course, Sharon Davis won silver on the 400 medley to someone who subsequently was proven to have been a doper, and then that women's 4x100 medley relay who won silver, which is backstroke. Actually, my sister was the backstroke on that. Helen Jameson, Maggie Kelly on the breaststroke, and Oscarby on the fly, and June Croft on the freestyle. They suffered from I don't quite know why they haven't upgraded that medal from silver to gold, because it was clearly proven there were druggies in there. I don't quite understand that. I think the president of World Swimming Body is looking at that at the moment. This is heat 6 of the women's 400 freestyle, and Evie Mackey's going to win it. She does. Very good swim from her again, and her time 4:24.61. So that's another lifetime best to win it. And another Liverpool swimmer up there in lane number 1, Peyton Chester's 4:25, a 3-second lifetime best from her. I'd love to know what they're doing in Liverpool. If the coach is around, give me a shout, because, well, it is my old alma mater. Had some great time swimming under my coach, Mrs. Jameson.
Oh, that's lovely.
I tell you what, she was great. She was very good. She had a really good team. They were talking about having a swim meet named after her, which would be lovely. But anyway, it's just an idea at the moment, I think. Evie Mackey of Lanark wins heat 6 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Peyton Chester, Sidley Liverpool second. Great from her. Hull third. Harrison fourth. That's heat 6. Making good progress through this women's 400 metres freestyle. We've got some great events still to come. Men's 200 medley still to come, and then the women's 200 metres backstroke. And I've waited quite a while. Not easy to warm up for a race when it's so long after the warm-up session. There is actually a warm-up pool just behind the start on the left-hand side there. There's actually a glass wall and then a little bit of a corridor, and then there's another 50-metre pool there as a warm-up pool. Asked Dan about that, as how he did the preparation. This is heat 7 of 11 heats of the women's 400 freestyle. Lois Child of Harrogate in 4. In high 5, it's Holly Marshall of Lincoln Vulcans. In 6 from Pembrokeshire County Swimming Club.
Cerys Griffiths, yeah, that's West Wales.
Thank you, Cerys. Wasn't quite sure how to pronounce it, so thank you. I've got my interpreter here. Oh dear. It is a lovely language, I have to say. I've learned that I like the word momentum.
It's a very sing-songy accent, I've been told. I don't think I have an accent, but apparently people look at me and they're like, you have the strongest Welsh accent we've ever heard. So on here, I'm trying to pronounce...
You've ever what? The strongest Welsh accent you've ever what?
Ever heard.
Heard.
I know.
Love it. I love it. Oh, it's great.
Apparently I have a typical Welsh Valley accent, because I am a Valley boy, very proud of it.
There you go. I used to work with a lady from Cork, and she used to describe the Cork accent in Southern Ireland as diddly-dee, diddly-do, and it was absolutely that. And it was just a joy to listen to, I've got to say. In fact, so much so, I went down to Cork. They have a place down there, Kinsale, which, of course, the Irish people will know well, but there's a food festival there every year. I've got to tell you, what a result that is. It's just the joy. Went to a pub, and the guy said, I just decided to try a little bit of Guinness. So I said, I love a pint of Guinness. And of course, they pour it in a certain way, which is, you know, pour it nice and slowly, then wait, then put the head on, then they give it to you. And anyway, 4 pints later, between the group, of course, not just for me, I got up to walk out, and I said, I haven't paid. I said, oh my goodness. So I went up and said, I'm so sorry, I haven't paid. He said, oh, what have you had? It was so trusting. Lovely people. Kinsale Food Festival, fantastic. I don't know if it's still on, but if it is, I'd love to go. Anyway, this is Heat 7, the women's 400 metres freestyle. This is the 200 metres turn in lane number 3. It's Talia Staines of Northumberland and Durham Performance, first to turn. Also going well closest to us is Jasmine Hall of Basildon and Phoenix. And that orange hat closer to us, and Doug Campbell, of course, an Olympian, coaching that team there. What a great job he's done. And he's, well, the commitment to the sport of swimming over his life, just amazing. Really is. Right in the centre there, going very well here is Talia in lane 3. Tactically now, she's probably about 4 or 5 metres ahead of the rest of the field. What would you be looking for her to be doing? She's got 3 lengths left at this turn, Dan.
Well, she can see she's quite a bit ahead of the field, so now she can relax, she can enjoy it. And I found when I was enjoying the race, I'd swim a lot quicker, because it just gives you a bit of energy. I haven't got the scientific reason why, but she's looking towards the left of the pool, and she can see she's ahead. Although she is seeing lane number 9, Jasmine Hall, is giving her a good run for her money. I actually think Jasmine Hall was just taking the lead, and she's looking great. You know, they have 100 metres to go, and she's obviously built this. She's obviously paced this perfect, which we've talked about already this morning. Pacing is perfection in this event.
Looks like she's working quite hard, but it's very effective indeed up there in 3. So actually Talia Staines just getting touched out for that first split at the 300 metres turn from Jasmine Hall, closest to us of Basildon. Jasmine just increasing the pacing a little bit, but these two having a good old scrap. Also in lane 8, 1 lane from that leader in the orange hat, Jasmine Hall, is Alice Young of Guildford City. There's the leader, Jasmine Hall, right on the outside, right on the lane line. Well, she was the leader. It looks like lane 3, Talia Staines picked up the pace quite significantly on that 350 metres.
Yeah, Nicole Ryan in lane 0 is also having a bit of a comeback on this 400. She's from Maidenhead, Tom Dean's old club. They're obviously doing something right there. She's looking great. She looks as if she's really having a comeback on this last 50.
Well, yes, I'm looking forward to hoping Tom Dean might join us in the commentary box at some time. That'd be great to have a chat with him. Looks like lane 3, though. Talia Staines of Northumberland and Durham is going to win this, the 7th heat of the women's 400 freestyle. She does. Great scrap it was, though, between her and 3, and then the 2 outside lanes. Nicole Ryan of Maidenhead right at the top there got 2nd and 4:25.0. And in lane 9, Jasmine Hall of Basildon, 4:25.37. Lifetime best for Jasmine. Super swim from her, as it was from the winner, Talia Staines of Northumberland.
And confirmation for the Heat 7 of the women's 400 freestyle. Talia Staines, strong swim, 4:24. Nicole Ryan takes 2nd, and 3rd, Jasmine Hall.
So Heat 8 of 11. 4 heats left in this women's 400 metres freestyle. And then we've got that men's 200 medley, in which we've got our British Olympic silver medalist, Duncan Scott. Twice Olympic silver on that 200 IM. First of all to a very quick Chinese man in that was in Tokyo, and then of course to Leon Marchand in Paris. Here we go, Maisie Dickinson of Wickham District in lane number 4. Heat 8 of 11, women's 400 freestyle. Phila de Britton in 3 from Ealing. The brothers swum a couple of times already at these championships. Phila in 3, Maisie Dickinson 4, Edith Price 5. Biddy Price from Mount Kelly. Emily Forward of Swansea University in 6. Here we go, up there in lane 2. Shola Robinson probably having the fastest start, the best start. Slow turnover at the start. It's quite deceptive because she's got good speed going, but she's got really good momentum off that stroke there.
Yeah, they're all looking great on this first 50, especially Edith Price from Mount Kelly. Oh, actually, first touching the wall is Robinson, lane 1. She's looking very strong here. Looking at the start list for this race, you can see Emily Forward, lane 6. So I know Emily, she swims at Swansea University. She is under my old coach, Adam Baker. In fact, this is probably quite a short race for her because she tends to gravitate towards open water swimming. I know that is something that she wants to go into a brutal event, but she does a lot of open water training. I'm going to sell Swansea a little bit here. So in Swansea, in the Gower, we do have an amazing few beaches. If you ever want to come open water swimming, come down. There's a good training. There's a good training group down there in Swansea. But she trains in a place, she often swims, I think once a week, swims in a beautiful bay called Langland Bay. I'm going to sell it because it's my favourite place to go. If I ever feel a bit stressed, if I want a nice ice cream, Andy, go to Langland Bay. I know at least once a week she jumps in that sea and trains that open water because the pool that we're watching right now, the water's not moving anywhere. You know, there's no current. It's nice, it's light, you can see the floor, you can see the tiles. Open water's a different story, it's brutal, it can be wavy, there could be a current, you can't see the floor, sometimes the water's black. So it is important to practice swimming in an environment like that, because it's so different to here.
It is funny, isn't it, people's mental approach to swimming. Absolutely love the swimming pool, nice and clear, black line down the middle, follow that. There's a wall coming up, 2 little lane lines to keep you straight. I just don't like swimming in the sea. And I know it's ridiculous, but it just gives me the kahoogies. I'm sure there's a shark with my name on its head just waiting for me. They go, oh, when was the last time there's a shark attack in Great Britain? You go, well, yeah, but wouldn't it be disappointing if I was the first?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, here we go. It's lane number 1, and Shola Robinson of City of Sheffield up there doing very well. She went off pretty quickly, and she's holding it well. She's quite deceptive in terms of the speed of the turnover of her stroke. It's relatively slow, but she really moves well. So I guess the efficiency of her stroke must be fantastic. Really, really good to see, and she must have honed that, because if you can turn over relatively slowly but really move well, it looks good, doesn't it? Maybe slightly short on her entry on the right arm there a little bit, maybe. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, a little bit, but she would have practiced this stroke quite a lot in training, and, well, I say quite a lot, she would have practiced it every day. But it's obviously working for her. Now, I swim a little bit. It's kind of like, this might not be the best term for it, but they say you swim with a little bit of a limp sometimes. So my left arm was the arm that came over longer than my right arm. My right arm, which was my breathing side, was a little bit shorter.
Yeah, very effective indeed, and it's been very effective for Shola Robinson in lane number 1. It looks like lanes 2 and 3 just starting to put the pressure on now, though. It's Madison Emmett of Repton in 2, and 3 is Phillida Britton with that white hat of Ealing. Also coming through in 4 is the green hat of Maisie Dickinson. So these 4 quite a way out in front now, and it looks like lane 2, Madison Emmett of Repton, leading with 50 metres to go. She is, and this is good. Well, she's going very quickly. I wonder if she could go a little bit earlier, because this is really impressive.
Yeah, maybe. Britton, lane 3 as well, is really putting up a good fight, and next to her in lane 4, Maisie Dickinson, of course, but the other side as well, Robinson in lane 1 is putting up a good fight. I'm enjoying this race between the first is a little bit in front. There's a fight for second, but third is a fight for second, but third is not too far out.
Well, Emmett gets a touch. Madison Emmett of Repton, good swim from her, 4:23.0. So that is another 2.5 second lifetime best from her. Second was Maisie Dickinson of Wickham District. Third, Phillida Britton of Ealing. And a lifetime best for Phillida, as well as for Maisie. So some really good swimming again. And we're getting to the sharp end. Heat 9 of 11 coming up. Just one more heat before those cycle seeded heats. There's the result of heat 8. Madison Emmett winning for Repton. Second was Maisie Dickinson. Third, Phila de Britton. And Shola Robinson ended up in fourth, but a good swim from her. And it was a lifetime best for Shola. So really gave it great commitment down that first 300. The rest of the field just overtaking her, but lifetime best is all you can ask for. Well done. Heat 9, last of the uncycle-seeded heats. It is women's 400 metres freestyle. Amelia John of City of Cardiff, the fastest seed. So heat 9 of this women's 400 metres freestyle. And a pretty quick start in lane 3. That's the green hat of Annabelle Compton of Wickham and District. And Compton has gone well. I keep on saying, I think this about Wickham, just nice and quietly. They keep on sticking swimmers at the front of these races, doing well, pumping out lifetime best. I think they're having a really good meet. Right at the top there, Sophie Benn of Mount Kelly. They've had some great swimming as well. Repton had a fantastic meet too. Right at the top there, lanes 0 and 1, Sophie Benn and Elizabeth Land started really well down this first 80 metres of this 400 metres freestyle.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at this field actually, because if you watch the screen right now, you can see all the girls have a different stroke rate. I'm picking out lane 5, Alice Forrest. She's got quite a high stroke rate for the first 100. And after that first 100 win in the first 100 was Sophie Benn from Mount Kelly. She's looking great. She's not looking towards the field at the moment, so she actually can't see what is going on in the rest of the race. But the positive of that is she can just focus on what she is doing, because it's so easy to get distracted in these races.
It is interesting, isn't it, that they don't do bilateral. Quite a few swimmers do swim and breathe bilaterally, making sure that they can see both sides. And let's see what they're doing in the centre here. Breathing to her right is the swimmer in second place. I thought she was going to turn first. That's Alice Forrest, right in the centre there for Northumberland and Durham Performance, the youngster, the 16-year-old. So now the swimmer from Mount Kelly, she can see everybody all across the pool. How did you do it in terms of breathing? Were you always to the right, always to the left, or did you do bilateral as well?
When I was younger, I'd done bilateral. I thought that was the right way. But as I got older, as I'd done more races, I just went off what felt more comfortable, and I settled with, especially the last 6-7 years of my career in a 1500, I settled with breathing every other, so every 2 strokes. So I was constantly breathing to the right.
Actually, this might sound a ridiculous question, but why did you choose the right? Just naturally comfortable? Did you ever have a crack at doing it left-sided for a session?
Yeah, that's not a silly question at all, Andy. I think that's a really that's a good question, actually, because I did try it, and I just found that when I started to breathe to my left, it affected my stroke a little bit, because obviously you're turning your head when you're swimming, so it does, you kind of mould your stroke around your breathing.
And so what was going wrong? What were you doing wrong when you were breathing to the left that wasn't going wrong when you were breathing to your right?
Well, if I was going down the pool, let's say the first 25 metres I was breathing to the right, and then all of a sudden I would breathe to the left, I'd have to change my stroke halfway through, which would disrupt the rhythm, which then would disrupt my stroke count. And then, like a domino effect, it would disrupt how I would get into that last 5 metres and then hit the wall.
Wow, fascinating. Well, hitting the wall first, right at the top there. Sophie Benn, she's swimming well, 3:13. And she can go under 4:20 here, and that'd be great. Her lifetime best is 4:19.3, so she's right on for a lifetime best, and that'll be a super swim. She's really wound it up. She started off well, but she's kept on just turning the gas up a little bit, really putting on the pressure, and she's broken the field, I think, right at the top there in lane 0. Still going well in lane 8 is Kerry Henney of the City of Liverpool. Another one of their distance programme. I've got to find out more about that. It's a super program. Big breath off that wall from Sophie Benwell. She's clearly hurting. The discipline is so difficult to make sure that you hit these turns, particularly towards the end of the race, but she's done so well so far.
Yes, it is. And if we see Sophie again tonight, she'll obviously improve on that. But she is now breathing to the left, so she can see that she's the head of the rest of the field. Maybe she thought, I can take it down a notch in this last 50. I can afford to take a big breath for the last length.
Well, 4:19.31 is her best. 4:19.31, or just outside that 4:19.6. Very good indeed, though. Coming into a stadium the size of this, it is like a cathedral. It really is. It's enormous, and it can be quite daunting when you first come in here. And the Mount Kelly student right on her lifetime best. Very good swim indeed from her, winning heat 9 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Second down the bottom in lane 8 was Kerry Henney of the City of Liverpool in a 4:21.6. Lifetime best from her by a couple of seconds. And let's see who was third. Here we go. Madison Wrens, again of City of Liverpool, another one. Wow. That's a lifetime best for her as well. Goodness me. So Ben from Rennie from Wrens. Ben from Henney from Wrens. Next two heats, the fastest two seeded heats in this women's 400 metres freestyle. I'm not quite sure why they only cycle seed the last two heats on the 4s, the 8s and the 15s, where they only do it on the last three heats for the 50s, the 100s and the 200s. I know it's a World Aquatics rule, but you know, we've always done it like that, so we continue to. World Aquatics, if you're listening, if you've got lots of heats, we've got 11 heats here, women's 400 freestyle. Let's mix it up a little bit. Do the same. Amelie Bloxage in lane 4. Great to talk to her the other day. Kayla Glenister, super distance swimmer. She's in 3. Molly Baker's in there as well. Holly Wilson from Leeds. Phoebe Cooper, City of Sheffield. Matilda Potter as well. What a heat this is. So 4:16 is the 8th fastest time coming into these championships. So that will certainly be a target for them to try and go faster than that. Dan, when you went to a championship like this, and the 4:16 was the 8th fastest, how much did you look at that and go, well, therefore, that's the time I've got to beat? Would you use the seeded times as the cut-off times for your target for trying to make the final? Or would you try and make sure that you were a little bit faster than that to make sure you give yourself a good opportunity to make that final, more certainty?
It was that second one, yeah. And to be honest, I wouldn't really look at the seeded times as much. I would just try my best to get into that race in the heat, and just because it's all down to the race. It can say all the facts on the sheet on the start list. It can say all the facts about what the swimmer has already done and the times going into the competition. But if they're not on it that day, it doesn't matter as long as you touch the wall first.
What about Olympics? Did you say, well, 8th fastest is, because I guess in a British Championship, for you it would be much less making the final. It's doing the right job to make sure you get a centre lane to then go ahead and make the qualification standard. Going to the Olympics, where you know you're more likely to be closer to the final cut, would you go in there and look at the 8th fastest time, or again just ignore it, just go as fast as you possibly can?
I mean, it is good to go into those big competitions knowing what is kind of like the cut-off, because there is a cut-off. Even if you're 0.001 off 8th place, if you're 9th place, you're not getting back that night. So I would have an idea, but I did try to, you know, refrain from thinking about that, because you can think about it too much and it can get in your head.
Yes, I suppose setting your own goals and making sure that you are very clear on what your targets are, your own targets, and goal setting so important. I tell you what is very interesting, I think, in life, swimmers are very good at setting goals generally. And if you work with your coach to set some goals and set them very clearly and write them down, the difference between writing them down and not is absolutely massive. I can tell you that Wilson in lane 5 is the first to turn at this the halfway mark in this heat 10 of 11 heats, just one more after this in this women's 400 metres freestyle. Holly Wilson of Leeds leading, but only just from Amelie Bloxage in 4 from City of Sheffield. Michaela Glenister of University of Stirling in 3. But the 3 leaders at the moment, well, it is Wilson from Bloxage in lane 5 and 4, and then Phoebe Cooper of Sheffield in 6.
Yeah, we know Holly, Amelia and Phoebe, even though they're all different clubs, Salford, Leeds, Sheffield Swim Squad, they're all different, but every now and again, Aquatics GB do get these girls together to do distance training camps. So even though they do train separately, they know exactly how each other trains and they know exactly how each other compete, because these girls are the girls that are competing against each other every competition.
Well, it is fun to go on these training camps as well, and the level of competition, it just goes up. It really is great fun to do. 100 metres to go in this second last heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. It's heat 10. There's been a lot of them, but wow, it's got spicy now, hasn't it? And Bloxage just decided to turn the gas up a little bit here, going into that 300 metres turn, which was interesting. And we were talking to her in the commentary box the other day, and she talked about the random go button, which was she just decides sometimes just to press it and she goes just randomly, which I thought was hilarious. But she's certainly done that here and done it very effectively.
Yeah, she definitely saved that last but one length to press that button there, Andy. She's looking great, and I think Holly Wilson is giving a bit of a run for her money. She's not letting her go too easily. She doesn't want to let her go too far, but they've probably not given everything, because these girls are going to be making it back tonight to the junior final, so they don't want to be exerting themselves too much.
So 15 metres to go in this second last heat of the women's 400 freestyle, and Bloxage has taken over. Her lifetime best is 4:12.09. She'll be just off that. Yeah, job done. 4:15.6, saving quite a lot of energy there for the final, but it's still a very good time. Holly Wilson second, Phoebe Cooper third. Yeah, nodding to the coach, nodding to her competitors there. Job done. Good swim from her. So Bloxage wins it from Holly Wilson second, Phoebe Cooper third, and fourth was Phoebe Arbuckle.
And the result of the women's 400 freestyle heat 10, Amelie Bloxage, takes first with 4:15, Holly Wilson second and Phoebe Cooper third. What a great race between these girls.
So that was the second last heat in this women's 400 metres freestyle, and the final heat's still to come. So, well, I think we've actually had, remarkably, we've had an answer from World Aquatics on that question about why we only cycle seed the last two heats. I'll come to that in a second. Holly Hibbett, the fastest seed. Fleur Lewis is in there. Lucy Fox, Jess Podger, Megan Barnes as well. Amy Monks. This is a fast heat. The final heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. So 8 lengths to the pool. It's the final heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. And right in the centre, Holly Hibbett is the fastest seed, and she's gone off pretty quickly. I love the way Holly swims. She always attacks it. Whatever she's going to do in the end, she always gives it her absolute best. And as usual, going out aggressively and going out well. It's great to see the commitment down this first 50. Also going well up there in lane 2 is Jess Podger, as is Ava Cook right at the very top from Sheffield.
I picked up on Holly's start then. She was ahead within the first 15 metres. You know, Holly's had plenty of experience doing this event. She came 7th in the 200 freestyle this year in the 200 free, but you know, she is very much a distance swimmer. She's very, very talented at the 800. But Holly, you know, I've known Holly for a long time. Holly's a very hard trainer. She started her career at the middle of her career, she was in Stockport, but I think she spends most of her training now in Bath Performance Centre, a great performance centre. I think now we're seeing lane 2 take the lead, Jess Podger, into the second 100.
Well, this is impressive as well. And she was in the B final of the Olympic trials on the 200 metres freestyle. So I do expect her to go out reasonably quickly here and then see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how her training program has gone and whether she can deal with a second 200. It's very easy to talk about, but when you're a sprinter or when you're a shorter distance swimmer, to try and have the comfort in that first 100 is very easy, the first 200, but then suddenly it gets enormously difficult. Could never quite work out why I couldn't do 100. That was ridiculously easy to the 100 mark of a 200, and then ridiculously hard for the second half. But at the moment, coming into the halfway stage in this final heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle, with still the men's 2 IM to go and the women's 200 backstroke. Looking very good up there is Jess Podger leading. She's going to be leading by, what, a second and a half, something like that. 1.18 from Lucy Fox in second, Holly Hibbert in third, Megan Barnes in fourth. And Dan Jones, we've had an answer on that question of why they only cycle seed the last 2 heats in the distance events, but the last 3 heats in the 50s, the 100s and the 200s. And it's come from Craig Hunter, absolute superstar he is, so thank you so much for that. And I quote, because often the quality of athlete in the longer distances means there could be a larger differential between 1 and 30, and makes their heats less competitive on those distance events. I completely get it. I see that. I'd still quite like it to be cycle seeded over the last 3, but he makes a very good point. Good point, well made. And I think he's going to be here tomorrow, so I shall shake his hand and say thank you. One of the greatest administrators the sport of swimming has ever known. I don't quite know what his job is, but if you want something running well in any aspect, Mr. Sensible, Mr. Logical, Mr. Practical, Mr. Get It Done, it will work if Craig Hunter's involved. Super guy he is, and thank you for that. Very interesting. What do you think? Would you like it to be cycle? I mean, you're a distance guy. Would you have liked the last 3 heats to be cycle seeded? Would you have preferred that, or would you have preferred it to be as it is, the last 2 heats to be cycle seeded on a distance race?
I understand where you're coming from with the cycle seeding, but I think I'd probably prefer it as it is.
Fair enough. I shall get back in my box. Well, this is the 350-metre turn in this final heat, the women's 400 free. They're just starting to catch up again now. She went out nice and quickly in lane 4. There's Holly Hibbert, and Lucy Fox still leading just about in 3. Also coming through well is Megan Barnes of Mount Kelly in 6. Good swim from here. So these 3 in 3, 4 and 6. That is Lucy Fox, Holly Hibbert and Megan Barnes. Well, also another 2 lanes coming into it as well. Very close indeed. It looks like Lucy Fox gets the touch. Just 24 100ths of a second ahead of Holly Hibbert in second. In fact, tied for second, Holly Hibbert and Megan Barnes. Look at that. Well, she's looking back down the pool because there's a scoreboard with the times on it all the way down the other end of the pool. It's a good, 80 metres away, so they've got to have a good eyesight to do it. The writing's quite small, but I think there's Holly Hibbert going through the shot as well. I think fairly comfortable from those leading ladies there. Lucy Fox, Holly Hibbert, Megan Barnes, 4:17.0, 4:17.27 equals second. And I think they will get through. Gosh, you hope you don't have a swim off. Hope that 4:17.27 is not equal 8th. So I hope it's equal 7th or 6th. We'll see in a second. So here is this summary of the qualifiers for this evening's final. Yeah, no doubt about it. Equal 4th, that's good news. So Amelie Bloksic, champion on the 1500 metres freestyle, won her 3rd straight British title. Just turned 16, amazing. Holly Wilson 2nd, Lucy Fox 3rd. And then tied for 4th, Holly Hibbert and Megan Barnes. Phoebe Cooper's made it in. Well done, Phoebe. Very good. Well, that'll be a good final tonight. I'm sure it's going to be quite a lot more aggressive, more spicy this evening than that relatively comfortable swimming this morning. Next event up is the men's 200 metres individual medley, and we've got some cracking swimmers in there. That's going to be a fun one. So going through these entries, we had a huge number of entries. I'm sure it was in the hundreds, maybe in the 90s, but there were a lot of them. And the qualification standard very similar from that which it was at the Olympic trials last year. So the number of entries here at this British Championships really has gone up. It's a decent percentage, isn't it?
I think it's up 15%, which is crazy, isn't it? There's over 1,000 athletes swimming.
Yeah, apparently it's 28%.
28%?
Yeah.
Wow. And we were saying earlier, the qualification time hasn't changed from last year. So that just shows the improvement of these athletes over the last 12 months.
Incredible. Really incredible. Well, it's exciting for British swimming, got to say, and Aquatics GB must be delighted with that fact. Not sure about the commentators wanting too many more heats of 1500 freestyle. Here's the para qualifiers, Paul.
Yeah, that's right. That seems like a long time ago when we saw these para 400 freestylers. Faye Rogers leads the way. Brock Whiston in second, the two gold medalists from Paris in different events, not on the 400. They'll look to achieve the qualification standard tonight. And Scarlett Humphrey might have a crack at her own British record as well. First of the 9 heats in the 200 individual medley. And it's an all para first heat. There's the lineup. SM14s well represented here. Nathan McManus, Jack Milne, Joseph Greaves and Corey here. Zach Sturgis is an SM10 swimmer. In fact, no one in lane number 4, so we don't have Joseph Greaves. Zach Sturgis is in lane number 5 and Bruce D in lane 7, closest to us. Of Bruce D to have a crack at the qualification time. He swims in the SM6 class. He's a swimmer with short stature, inspired by his Northampton teammate Maisie Summers-Newton, that we saw her on the live stream last night. What a character, Maisie Summers-Newton, and in turn she was inspired by Ellie Simmons in the past.
I'm allowed to say Bruce D's butterfly technique, absolutely love it.
Oh, he's fantastic, Bruce D. He's still very, very young, Bruce D. He made his Paralympic debut last year in Paris, and it was kind of a discretionary pick for the GB team, but he did them absolutely proud in the Paris Paralympic Games. Finished 4th position in this 200 metres individual medley, just 18 years of age, and he was only 17 when he went to Paris last year. Well, in the centre lane, Zach Sturgis, Jack Milne going well, University of Aberdeen performance. He trains up there in Aberdeen with Faye Rogers, so along with Patrick Miley. And they've got a good setup up there in the University of Aberdeen. You ever been up there, Andy? Into the Aberdeen Sports Village?
No, I've been to Aberdeen. I used to do some oil and gas financing a long time ago. And so I went up there and went up on the oil rigs, which was really fascinating, but never actually stopped and went in. I wish I had done, because I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's a brand new facility. Well, it's not new anymore. It's probably about 10 years old now, but great facility up there. 50-metre swimming pool, a diving pit as well, athletics track at the back, sports pitches, fantastic.
Gym?
Yeah, it must be. Not that I would see the inside of a gym these days. Jack Milne and Zach Sturgis are going head-to-head here. Entry time for Jack Milne, 2:26. Zach Sturgis the fastest in that 50 freestyle, 2:22. Great time from Zach. These para swimmers really stepping up here. Nathan McManus and Corey here coming in now. Let's have a look at Bruce D. Let's see how he can do. Let's see if he can get close to his entry time of 2:43. He's going to be outside that one, but I think in the lowest numerical class, Bruce D might have a big points total here. 2:47.33. Well, I hope Bruce able to improve tonight. He's blowing a little bit hard, Bruce D. He's certainly a swimmer we'd love to see come through the ranks and make that team for Singapore. The women did so well in Paris for the para team. As we see the result there, Zach Sturgis, Jack Milne, Corey Hare, Nathan McManus and Bruce D. That's the finishing order, but of course it's multi-classification. The times for those swimmers will be compared against a standard time, which is equivalent roughly to the world record for their classification. World record time being 1,000 points. The highest number of points will qualify for that final. I think Bruce D is going to be there to have another crack at that entry time. There's the lineup for this next heat. Some non-para swimmers in the middle. And the para swimmers in the outside lanes. Jude Gunner, going in lane 0. Dylan Broom in lane number 1. They're 2 in the SM14 class. Might be wondering if it's SM is the prefix. Just to note that it is an individual medley event. The SB events are breaststroke, and the S events are the other strokes, so backstroke, butterfly and freestyle, all prefixed by the S. Oliver Caddick from Loughborough in 2, Brian Dinnef from Bromley in 3, William Viney from City of Birmingham in 4, Joseph Swart from University of Surrey in 5, and Finlay Pope from Stockport Metro in 6, the non-para swimmers in the middle. And the para swimmers right down here closest to us, Cameron Verncombe and Harry Stewart in 7 and 8, they're Paralympians from Paris, and Jason van der Merwe from Newham and University of East London. He goes in line, a para swimmer. All SM14s in this para race. Well, the non-para swimmers going out ahead. It was interesting, guys. I was speaking. You and Dan were speaking about the crowds that you were going to expect in LA, and Paris was absolutely packed. 15,000 people in the stadium in Paris, in the swimming stadium, and the noise was absolutely incredible. And that had an effect on some of the S14 swimmers, a really negative effect, because the S14 obviously an intellectual impairment, and crowds, you know, some of the swimmers were really affected, and their performance was affected by that. And that's maybe something that the teams are going to have to think about with this huge arena in Prospect in LA.
Indeed, because I think traditionally Americans not necessarily quieter than French people, and I think the volume of crowd, the size of the crowd, is going to be at least 3 times the size of that which was in Paris. So it really is going to be quite something special, isn't it?
Yeah, something to look out for, definitely prepare for. That's the most important part, isn't it?
Certainly will be. Well, William Viney of City of Birmingham, right in the centre, had a really good swim here, and he's swimming away from the field. This is great, really driving his legs. He's got a good tempo here, slightly shorter entry position, certainly on his right arm, but this is a good swim from William. 2:10.77 is his entry time, his lifetime best. 2:75, so that's a quarter of a second underneath his lifetime best. Great swim from William to win it. Finlay Pope second. Third up there, I think in lane 2 was Oliver Caddick. Yes, it was. So great. Well, really, he's delighted. Look at that. Well done. Well done indeed. What a fantastic response. And Paul, give us a quick update on those para-athletes.
Yeah, I think Cameron Verncombe was the first home finalist in the Paralympic Games, so no surprise there. Just outside the qualification standard by a couple of seconds. Cameron Verncombe 2:12.96 ahead of Dylan Broom, and Harry Stewart was the next para swimmer home. So they should progress to the para final. One more para swimmer to come in a couple of heats time.
Thank you, Paul. That's the second heat of 9 heats in this men's 200 medley, and next heat up is Edward Ormsby of City of Cambridge, is the fastest seed, and that's heat 3. Here we go. Here it is. So Ormsby in 4, Holensky in 5. One of the international athletes. You can see on the right-hand side of that caption an E, so he will be excluded from progressing to the final should he be fast enough. As an international athlete, we want to have as many of the British team in those evening finals, because 6 different teams being selected. We need as many lanes as we can filled, so the selectors can have a really good look at them. Heat 3, men's 200 medley. In lane 4, it's Edward Ormsby of Cambridge in that light blue hat. Probably the best start coming from Noah Wheeler of Chalfont Otters. It's pretty even down this first 25-30 metres or so. And not easy to train for medley. Certainly the best swimmers in the world, swimmers like Michael Phelps, world ranked in all 4 strokes. Quite a difficult thing to achieve, but certainly down this first 50, it looks like in lane number 3 it was Noah Wheeler, but very close down the fly leg. Let's see what the backstroke's got to show.
Yeah, Ben from Crawley in lane 9 also had a good fly there. Pulling through now is lane 7, Archie Minto. He's coming through really nice. And so next to him, Henry Norman from Bromley. He's got a good backstroke.
And right up the top there, Jake Chesworth of Maxwell going well. Very strongly indeed. So Noah Wheeler from Chalfont, well, decent fly and backstroke. It'll be interesting to see what his breaststroke is like. And it's this breaststroke leg that always catches out the non-specialist medley swimmers. The best medley swimmers in the world certainly have an excellent breaststroke. So lane number 5, it looks like at the moment it is Gideon Holinski of Swansea leading. And delighted to say, and this is a pretty special time, I've got to tell you, joining me in the commentary box, Juan T. Dean. Just charge your way into the seat there, Tom.
I wondered how long it'd take until the Strictly jokes started coming. No, it's a pleasure to join you both this morning on what is a really special event, 200 IM, which is very, very close to my heart. So, no, looking forward to it.
So, well, I'm going to ask you in a second about how you swam the medley, because Olympic champion 200 metres freestyle, also gold on the 4x2 twice. Not easy to therefore go and train for something like this, where you've got to do all the 4 strokes. We'll just call the end of this one, Tom, and then we'll come back to that in a second. But they're in lane number 3. It looks like no Wheeler of Chalfont-Ofters is leading right at the top as well. Jake Chesworth going well for Maxwell. These two, first and second. Ooh, only 0.3 of a second between the two. Wheeler gets it from Chesworth. Lanes 3 from 0 with Benjamin Guthrie in third. The time 2:08.46 for the winner, and that's a full second inside of his lifetime best. And we're saying it every single time. It's wonderful to see. And well, as one of the senior members of the team, I suppose, Tom, great to see so many lifetime bests coming through in the heats. Almost every single heat we've seen so far, we've seen a lifetime best from the winner.
Yeah, I think it's really, really special when the swimmers can come to the major meet and put their season's best time on the board in front of a crowd in London. I think that takes real skill, so it's fantastic to see.
It is, and for some swimmers, we were talking, Dan and I, talking about the size of this swimming complex. It's almost like a cathedral. When you first walk in, as someone who's not seen it before, it must be quite psyche-outy, whatever the English word is for that.
I think so. Walking through the Olympic Park always hypes you up slightly, and you see some of the young guys like Jacob Mills last night delivering the goods in the final. It's really special, and it'll really prep them well.
Well, it certainly will. It really will. And this is Heat 4. And can't wait to get into a little bit of this one. Jamie Gray of Tavistock Swimming Club is the fastest seed. Logan van der Meulen of Stirling. I think his mum's here. Alison Shepherd, she is a great swimmer. Watching in the crowd. I think that was the Repton hat, wasn't it? So here we go. This is Heat 4 of 9 heats of the men's 200 medley. And Tom, well, you're obviously a brilliant 200 metres freestyle Olympic champion, and twice on that men's 4x2 as well, 3 Olympic golds. But you are also, and are, pretty spicy 200 medley swimmer. How on earth do you go from 200 freestyle to 200 medley?
It's a great question. I was a 200 medley swimmer before I was a 200 freestyler, so through all my years at Maidenhead Swimming Club, we're fortunate enough to have a Maidenhead swimmer in this race, in Alex Bacon, and it's a completely different race. It's very, very exciting. It's completely different to train for, but there are a few carryover between the two 200s, so it'll be exciting to see what these boys do this morning.
And Dan and I were talking earlier about when you're a youngster and you start learning the sport and you do, I'm a 50 freestyle, I'm a 100 fly, or whatever. And it sometimes is that when you're a junior, you have a favourite event and that's your event. And then as you get more senior, it sort of changes and can change quite seriously. You used to be a very good 200 medley swimmer. I do know that actually European juniors.
Yes, I was European junior champion, but I was also a world champion medalist on the 200 medley in 2023 in Fukuoka on the podium with Leon Marchand and Duncan Scott. So I've still continued the 200 medley, and I very much plan to keep doing that. Sometimes your events just pick you, though, and the freestyle was something I was drawn towards and proved quite successful as well.
Quite successful. It's not too bad at all, is it? So triple Olympic champion, and then just nipped on the medal podium at the World Championships. Yeah, Leon beat me. My mate Leon.
Not bad company at all.
Well, Duncan Scott we're certainly going to see coming up later, and what a superstar he is. Olympic silver medalist in each of the last 2 Olympic Games, and well, he was beaten by Leon in Paris, and what a swim that was. One of the most amazing evenings. Just fantastic swimming. Lane 6, that is University of Stirling's Aaron Elkers wins it. Good swim from him, 2:06.6. In fact, saying it's a good swim. 3-second lifetime best on a 200 IM. That's extraordinary. Elkers wins it, Jamie Gray second, Alex Bacon third, your mate from Maidenhead. He must be pretty happy with that one.
Pretty special to see a 2-second personal best for Alex there. Fantastic work from him and my old coach, Paul Lloyd at Maidenhead. Some great swims there and some fantastic final 50s, which is what it all comes down to.
Good plug as well. He's a bit of a professional, isn't he? Oh, very good. So Elkers wins it from Stirling, 2:06.66, super swim there. Jamie Gray second of Plymouth College, Alex Bacon from Maidenhead third, Austin Manley of Repton in fourth, Sutcliffe fifth. So that's heat 4. Next heat up, heat 5, and Max Morgan of Reeds, champion on the 50 metres breaststroke. And I can tell you, Tom, that certainly Dan and I have been lamenting the fact that we were decent fly back and free. In fact, I used to have British record, senior or junior, on fly back and free. My breaststroke was horrible, such that it just wipes out my medley. How on earth you've got a breaststroke when you're freestyle, I don't know, but it'd be really interesting, one, to hear how you've managed it, and then two, actually, lane 4 is not here, he's scratched, so Max Morgan has decided not to swim this heat of the 200 IM. So therefore the fastest seed now will be in lane 5. That's Daniel Fielder of University of Birmingham. But Tom, how is it that you started your 200 freestyle and your life is brilliant, and okay, Olympic champion in that and the men's 4x2, which I'm going to ask you about in a minute because that's very exciting. But how is it that you managed to get the breaststroke going and therefore have such a brilliant medley? Because without a breaststroke, you haven't got a chance, have you?
You're absolutely right. You cannot have a weak stroke on the 200 medley on the world stage. Fortunately, I was a breaststroker growing up. It came quite naturally to me, whereas you look at someone like a Duncan, who's got a fantastic butterfly backstroke and obviously a freestyle, the breaststroke was something he always had to work on, and we'll see that in just a moment.
Well, indeed, it's going well up there in, what is that, lane 012 from Elliot Woodburn of Kendal. Very good backstroke. In fact, was first in the 50 metres backstroke in the B final here. So an excellent backstroke, a long, rangy stroke. And over first in lane number 2, 58.6 at the 100. So now the breaststroke, really high, beautiful breaststroke. Just talk us through this this stroke technique here, Tom, and this breaststroke. It's really high recovery.
It's a really interesting breaststroke technique. You look at someone like an Adam, who almost changed the whole scene of sprint breaststroke, Adam Peaty, and you start to see it being picked up by some of the younger guys. I'm really upset, actually, that we didn't get to see Max Morgan, the fastest qualifier for this heat race, because I know he's been having a fantastic meet on his breaststrokes already. It would have been interesting to see what he could have put together on this medley.
One of the most laid-back guys I think I've ever seen as well. He talks at a rate that he doesn't do 10,000 words a day. He does he might do 10,000 words a year. He's one of the most laid-back people. Absolutely lovely chap. Anyway, delighted he won that 50 metres breaststroke. And he had a very good 100. Very nearly went sub 60 seconds on that. And Elliot Woodburn going very well up there for Kendal in lane number 2. In 1, it's William Godsall, also going well in 5, Daniel Fielder. And it's these 3 guys in that order. Woodburn from Godsall from Fielder. Woodburn's time 2:06.52. So that's a good second and a half inside his lifetime best. That's very good indeed. So Elliot Woodburn wins it in lane 2 from Kendal Swim Club. That's great to see. It really is. And again, fascinating to see 200 freestylers doing so well. We will be seeing a great Scott in fairly shortly. But join again, Paul Noble. You've got one of your para superstars in this heat 6.
Oh, it was Rhys Darby there in
heat 5. Excuse me, heat 5. Yeah, indeed. There we go.
Just 2:10.09 for Rhys Darby. So he just missed out on that qualification standard. 2:09.25 is the qualification standard. So he was very, very close to achieving that, but I expect to see him go a little bit faster tonight. Went out a little bit slow on that one, slower than normal, so hopefully he can pick that up and we'll get another qualifier tonight to add to the 7 we've had already.
7 qualifiers for the World Para Championships in Singapore later on this summer. Now we've got heat 6. Heat 6 of the men's 200 metres individual medley. The last of the uncycle seeded heats. Luke Poulton of Wickham District, the fastest seed in lane 4, with Charlie Broom in 5, Llewellyn Porter in 6. Well, I've got to ask you about the great Scott coming up, the absolute superstar that he is. Because I think he's the second most decorated British Olympian in Olympic history, Duncan Scott, with 8 Olympic medals. What's it like to have somebody in the team like that? I mean, he's a fascinating character, one of the most driest wits I think I've ever seen, but such a lovely guy.
He has a very traditional Scottish humour, doesn't he? He's one of my closest friends. He's one of my closest competitors. I can only say good things about Duncan Scott. I'm a big fan of him and his swimming, of course. We saw what he did in the 200 fly earlier this week. He went and won an event that is not even in his traditional roster with an incredibly fast time. So it'll be interesting to see what he does this week.
And Dan and I were talking about that and how you stay hungry, stay fresh, stay sort of interested between Olympic cycles, because the Olympics obviously have just gone last year in Paris. How do you stay interested and hungry? And one of the ways maybe is to do a fun event, and he's chosen 200 fly as his fun event.
Yeah, I wouldn't normally pin it as the most fun event, but you look at what Duncan does incredibly well is peaking at those Olympic meets once every 4 years. He's changed his coach. Ben Hickson is his new coach up at the Stirling Training Centre. It'll be interesting to see how he works under him. I'm a big fan of his. I know Duncan gets on with him very well, so that will give him a fresh, exciting start to this next 4 years, because 4 years is a long time. Olympic cycles, it's tough to stay at that top level for the whole 4 years.
Indeed it is. Well, right at the top there, Finley Davis of Stirling's going very well. And it'll be interesting to see how that programme does unfold. I mean, it's always interesting when a long-term coach of the quality of somebody like Steve Tigg moves on, but he's moved on to bigger and better, and I think he's not national performance head coach now. But someone brilliant taken over, so that's good to see in Iggy. So Finley Davis leading right at the top there, but having a go at him is Cameron Rapson, his teammate from Stirling, and these two having a right old ding-dong at the top there. Who gets the touch? It is just 2:05.32. It's Finley Davis, second Cameron Rapson, third Llewellyn Porter. And that's a very good swim, and great to see those teammates. Look at that, two very happy chaps. Well, it looks like the programme started very well.
Clearly something they're doing under Ben is working very, very well, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of that with Duncan in that final heat as well. But great to see some personal bests from those two lads up in lane 0 and lane 1.
So there we go, confirmation of the result of heat 6 in this men's 200 medley. Finley Davis wins it from University of Stirling, with Cameron Rapson, his teammate, second. Both delighted with that. High fives and big smiles. Great to see. Llewellyn Porter third, with Charlie Broom of Leeds in fourth, and Wilfred Lee of Millfield in fifth. So heat 7 comes to the sharp end of this men's 200 metres individual medley. The first of the cycle seeded heats. Evan Jones goes in as the third fastest seed into this championship, fastest in this heat. Ben Harrison in 5, and the other side of Jones is David Annis of Stirling. So this will be a fun one. Jones in 4, excellent medley swimmer. Great freestyler as well. So what are you looking for here in terms of time? I mean, it's the first of the fast heats, so what have these guys got to do? Are they going to have to go absolutely crazy to make sure that they hit as fast a time as they can with 2 fast heats still to come, or would you say they'll probably just try and time it perfectly, not use everything in the heats?
You're right, we are in the first of the seeded heats, so you have to keep an eye on what the next 2 heats are going to do, but you don't want to give too much away. It's always quite tough being the first of the 3. You want to go quick enough time to kind of put some pressure on those next 2 heats, but at the same time that will push them on to do even faster swims. Evan Jones is going to be a very interesting one to watch in this event. He moved from Stirling down to Manchester. He's now training under Ryan with the likes of James Guy and Matt Richards, so I think his freestyle could be very strong. He's knocking on the door of dipping under that 2-minute mark for the first time, and if he can put a good heat swim together, then I'm sure we could see that this evening in the final.
Always interesting when the really high quality swimmers change program, because they're always obviously doing pretty well where they were, and then they go to another program and something different happens. It'd be really interesting to see what happens at Manchester Performance, because Ryan Livingston, goodness me, he's got a great squad there now, and Evan Jones certainly joining as one of those. David Annis of Stirling in 3 going with him. But what is it about Ryan Livingston that is making such a difference in British swimming at the moment?
Ryan is one of the most mathematical, statistical, technical people that I know, not even just in the coaching world, but of anyone that I know. He is up on planes reading reports about the most recent research into training philosophies. It's fantastic to see, and it's clearly working very, very well with the likes of the crop of athletes that they have there at the moment.
It's always interesting when you meet people like that, isn't it? They've not just got to be great at analysing it, but they've also got to be great at talking about it and explaining it to their swimmers. And this swimmer, Evan Jones, look at that. Very good indeed. And thumbs up there from Tom Dean. You're pretty impressed with that one?
I'm pretty impressed with that. He looked fantastic. His splits were good. And between me and you, I think he might have taken his foot off the gas slightly those last 10 metres. He's looking pretty steady, leaning on the lane rope there. I think we could see something quick from him this evening.
And he's smiling too. I think you might be right. I've got to say, I thought he finished really hard, but you spotted something there inside that last 15 or 20. What was it that made you think he was going a little easier?
You can see when an athlete is putting everything on the line, and when they just slightly take their foot off, you see where they are. Their stroke rate drops slightly, the kick rate drops slightly. They're saving something for a quick final swim tonight.
So Jones wins it 2 minutes, 0.96, right on his lifetime best. Very good from him. David Annis and Andrew Bertoli, 2nd and 3rd, both of Stirling. The University of Stirling programme so strong there, with Loughborough University, Vadim Bosk in 4th. So just 2 heats left, but we were talking about whether you need to put a marker down, and certainly Evan Jones has done that here. This is Heat 8. Charlie Hutchison of Loughborough University, the fastest seed, with Luke Iverson 2nd fastest. Edward Marcel Whittles is in there, Pierce Greening's in there, Evan Davison of Perth City. There's some very quick swimmers in this second last heat of the men's 200 medley, but the last one is stacked, so be careful, guys. Duncan Scott is in that last heat. A couple of great breaststrokers in there as well, Bilbao and Novaki. Heat 8, it's the second last heat of the men's 200 medley, and again, joining me in the commentary box, it is an absolute honour to have you in here, Tom Dean. Is this the first time you've ever done commentating?
The first time I've ever done commentating, and it also feels slightly weird, sat on this side of the commentary instead of being involved in the 200 medley, normally a staple of my programme at the British Championships. But of course, this meet was all about just the 100 for me, building back in, and next year I'll be back up to my full main events, which is exciting. But I'm really enjoying actually watching some quick racing here.
Well, one, it's great to have you in the commentary box. How long have you been back in the water? Because, I mean, that 100 freestyle last night, I'll be absolutely honest, I was quite surprised at just how good you were, because I didn't think you'd been in that long. So to perform like that with a relatively short time, how long have you been in?
That makes 2 of us, actually, who were pleasantly surprised. I took 6 months completely out of water, way longer than I ever have before, and then a very, very gradual build-up from January under my coach, Dave McNulty, at Bath. So to come here, to make a final, to be a medalist was nothing I was really expecting. What's exciting is I'm in that 4x1 free at Singapore, which I think is going to be very special, with the likes of Jacob Mills, of course, coming up through the ranks. A real pleasant surprise. So very, very happy with that.
Oh, indeed, very good. Well, what about this race here? Because you've just seen a really good swim in that previous heat from the winner, Evan Jones, with a couple of swimmers in there as well. But how do you see this 200 medley unfolding at the moment? You've got Charlie Hutchinson charging at the moment. He's looking pretty good. Is it unfolding as you'd expect this set of heats?
Completely. So Evan Jones will have done exactly what his coach asked him to do, be winning your heat, make it look casual down those last 10 metres, don't give too much away. Charlie Hutch, of course, a fantastic 400 medley swimmer. He's got no chance of dying down this back end, but they have to be conscious that they have not only Duncan Scott, but Matt Ward, who's on great form here at this meet as well, so you can't give too much away.
Well, this guy looks very good indeed, doesn't he, Charlie Hutchison? Really very good. We had a chat with him after the 400 medley. What a card he is. He was great fun. We had him come in, and I was going to just ask him about the race. He started commentating on the next race up. It was hilarious. He's such a fun chap, isn't he? Great fun. You must know him very well.
Yeah, I've raced Charlie. I've trained him for a number of years. He loves it. He loves swimming. He's a great athlete to have around. He looked relaxed there, 2-1. That'll be enough to make it back tonight, and let's see what these boys do in the final heat now.
Well, I was also asking Dan earlier on, would you prefer to be in one of the first of the cycle seeded heats, the first one of the three, or would you prefer to see what the other guys have done and then be in that last one so you know what you need to do? Or just tell you there, Charlie Hutchinson, great swim, 2:01.1, and then Toby Godsall second and 2:03 with Ibbotson third. Would you prefer to be in the first of those last three heats or the last of the last three heats?
I like being any of those last seeded heats because you have to look at it that way. If I'm first, I'm putting a quick time down. I'm scaring those last two heats. I'm making a real statement. If I'm last, I get to see exactly what everyone else has done and I can react appropriately. So either or.
Well, Duncan Scott is in the last heat, and he is the superstar. He's a double Olympic silver medalist in this event, the 200 medley. Double Olympic gold medalist as a teammate of Tom Dean in that men's 4x2. He's the most decorated British swimmer in Olympic history. He's the second most decorated British Olympian, full stop, with 8 medals. Wonderful guy, so versatile as well. I mean, the International Swimming League came along and it was very important that you had full versatility, really flexible, and you could swim any race you wanted to. And he came up and started racing all sorts of stuff, didn't he?
I've never seen anything like the versatility and the range that Duncan has. I think a few names that spring to mind: Ryan Lochte, Kazuki Hagino. You know, these are the athletes that Duncan is very much in the same realm as. He's got a fantastic fly. 25.0 is a brilliant time. It'll be interesting to see how he approaches this heat. Is he going to be going for it to 100 meters and then maybe take his foot off the gas? He doesn't have to do loads to get a comfortable middle lane position for this evening. But just keep an eye on Matt Ward here. He's got a fantastic backstroke. He's tucked very close to the lane. He's going to be up there with Duncan at the halfway mark, and I know both of them have been working a lot on their breaststroke.
Well, they certainly have, and Matt Ward was a bronze medalist on the 100 metres backstroke here, so we did expect him to work it and work it well, and he's done exactly that. Caught up a little bit, I think, on Duncan Scott on that backstroke. And this is interesting because you don't often see Duncan Scott on individual breaststroke races, but he's got a very good breaststroke. Certainly Matt Ward has got a great breaststroke here as well. Look at this.
It's fantastic. If you look at them, they both rate very highly on their breaststroke, and that's their way of getting a quick time. Of course, Duncan's a fantastic freestyler as well, so it'll be a good race, and it's setting up for an interesting evening tonight as well.
And going forward, I mean, it's very, very tough now with Leon Marchand on the world stage on that 200 medley. What do you think Duncan's going to be focusing on going forward in terms of his A race, his best race?
You asked Duncan what his best race is. I think it changes every day. We saw that on the 200 butterfly. He can go up to a 400 medley. He can go all the way down to 100 freestyle and be one of the fastest splits ever. This is fantastic. These two boys are doing brilliantly heading into the last 15 metres.
Well, it's Duncan Scott on the top of those two, and Matt Ward closer to us. Ward swam really well. That's excellent. Well, 1:59.9, and I have to say, the most pedestrian finish I think I've seen in a long time. Lovely long glide. Just surfed off the water when his hand went forward, and he went 1:59 in the heat for a 200 medley. It looked so easy. Super time for Matt Ward. Very good indeed. 2 minutes 0.15, and that is a new lifetime best by 1/100, but we'll certainly take it. 2 minutes 0.16 was his best. 2 minutes 0.15 now. Alexander Casey was third, but how easy did Duncan Scott look down that final 50?
He's a true professional when it comes to swimming well-pitched heat swims here at the British Championship. So it was a great swim from him, and it was fantastic to see Matt on his lifetime best in a heat in the morning with the schedule he's already had. Multiple Scottish record holder from the back of this week, so it's going to be a Scottish 1-2, I think, heading into tonight.
Well, you just saw the result of that final heat, and those the first two in that final heat. Duncan Scott, Matt Ward go into the final fastest, with Evan Jones, the winner of the first of the cycle seeded heats. Hutchison's in there as well. Bill Bowers done well to make it. That's a very good swim from the breaststroker. Excellent from him. Toby Godsall did well to make it too. So that's going to be a really fun final. I wonder what Duncan Scott is going to do in that final, what sort of time he's capable of, because I've got to tell you, that 200 fly shocked the dickens out of me. I did not expect him to go as fast as he did on that.
Completely. I don't think he even knew that he was going to swim as fast as that. It was incredible. The interesting thing about Duncan is he is pre-selected for this event. He's an Olympic medalist from the Paris Games, like you said, just behind Leon. So he can play around with it tonight. He's not got the pressure of qualification on this event. So how he swims it tonight will be fascinating.
Well, with a bit of luck, I think we might just be able to grab Duncan Scott just for 1 second here, just to ask him how it went. So this will be a fascinating chat, won't it? So here we go. So he's just joined me. He's puffing like a wild man. So we've got Duncan Scott here. Duncan, how was that final heat for you?
Yeah, pretty tough. It's just going to be me breathing down the mic. Doing all of that. Yeah, no, it was... Look, it's pretty tough, you know, 2 IMs are 2 IM. It's going to be hard, and, you know, it's going to be a really good race in there tonight. Obviously, 2 fly early in the week, so you know, hopefully my fly will be pretty good tonight. So, yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I've
got to say, I was pretty shocked at just how fast you went on that 2 fly. I know you said, yeah, well, it was fine, but I thought it was brilliant. Given that, what are you looking for tonight in the final of the 2 AM?
Well, yeah, I think, no, obviously I'm a lot more versed at the 2 AM, so no, my PB is probably a lot more accurate than perhaps the 2 flight. But look, you know, if I can get, I don't know, if I can get anywhere around where, you know, my best has been at this time of the year, you know, I'll be really excited with that. I think 5.9 is my best ever in April, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be biggest things learning for next year. You know, at the end of this year, you know, flying the back, I've really got to improve.
Yeah, and I was just actually, there's a start of a race here, so I'll talk quietly, but I was just asking Tom, what is your best race? What will you be taking forward to next year and going into LA? Because, I mean, you're a brilliant 200 medley swimmer, you're a brilliant 400 medley swimmer, you're a brilliant 200 fly swimmer, your 100 fly is very good, you can do 400 freestyle, Olympic champion, double champion on the 4x2. Help me.
I'd sit here all day, just blow up my ego. This is lovely, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably that thing, isn't it, where it's a great problem to have, but yeah, no, it can be frustrating. Obviously next year, you know, Commonwealth Games, it allows me to open the schedule up a little bit more and perhaps do some more events, but yeah, that's a frustrating thing. You know, I'm still chasing that individual gold, you know, Olympics and World Champs, so you know, working with Ben, which has been really exciting and really good fun. So, you know, we're trying to utilise, you know, what can we get the most out of, and you know, the fly there was to hopefully improve my IM as well. So, yeah, no, look, it's a difficult conversation to have, but you know, it's always great being part of that 4x2. I thought the 4x1 last night, those boys were great. So yeah, they're always great fun to be a part of.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I don't want to hold you up because I do know that you've got to go and swim down, but thank you so much for coming and having a chat. And I wish we could talk a little bit more, but really great to talk to Duncan Scott. And really interesting to see what he's going to be doing going forward, and which is going to be his best event going into the Los Angeles Olympics. I do know that relay team, the 4x2, is still together. I wanted to ask him whether he was... whether it's affected him very much to be pre-selected for the World Championships this year, because it's quite interesting being pre-selected. Does that affect the way that you prepare for championships? And maybe I can ask you, because Tom Dean, you've obviously been pre-selected as well off the back of that Olympic relay gold medal. Again, your second consecutive men's 4x2 free relay gold medal. Does it affect you very much the way you prepare for a meet when you've been pre-selected versus when you haven't been pre-selected, so you've got to perform at these trials?
It's completely individual, of course. One thing that Duncan does fantastically, and it's something I really am trying to learn to do better from his inspiration, is every meet is a challenge to learn something, and every meet is an opportunity to get something from. So he will have approached this trials knowing he was pre-selected for an event like the 200 IM. He's going to be keeping his cards close to his chest. I know even in his interviews he does, but he might be saying, I really want to work my backstroke split. I really want to push my 200 fly to work on that butterfly. So every meet, regardless of...
I always get slightly frustrated. I used to get slightly frustrated watching his 2 fly, because he always used to go out very comfortably, come back really quick, be catching everyone up, sometimes do it, but sometimes not. You go, Dunk, you're a great 400 freestyle, 400 measures. get on with it and just see what happens. And I had not seen him do that till that two fly the other day. My goodness me, that was quite awesome. Absolutely amazing.
Of course. Well, as a fly guru yourself, Andy, I'm sure he would appreciate some input on his next race for how to execute that 200 fly, but it looks like he's doing it your way. I think he must be listening to you.
It's very kind of you. I can give him some advice on the first two legs, but definitely not on the second. Tom Dean, triple Olympic champion with us in the box. And Dan Jervis, double Olympian, Olympic finalist on the 1500 metres freestyle. This is the second heat of the women's 200 metres backstroke. And up there in lane number 4 is the fastest seed is Annabelle Neal of Middlesbrough. In 5 it's Petra Varga of Wirral Metro. Kate Roberts of City of Liverpool in lane number 3. And 200 metres backstroke, well, Dan Jervis has joined us again. And Dan, I've got a sneaky feeling that we were talking earlier about events that you're good at as a youngster, as a junior, and then sometimes that changes when you become a senior. This is the 200 metres backstroke. I hear a little bird tell me that you used to be a 200 backstroker.
Yeah, I did. I moved to Swansea in 2012, and before I moved to Swansea, when I was in Neath Swimming Club, that was my event. It was my first ever national time, actually. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot changed in that last 10 years.
You saw the light, went to 1500 freestyle.
Well, I wouldn't say it was light.
Turn the light off, mate. You're bonkers. 1500 freestyle. Turn the light back on again, I think I would. Gracious me. Tom Dean, did you ever do 200 backstroke?
No, for some reason, 24 years old, I'm still unable to quite crack the understanding of backstroke. The thought of doing a stroke where you can't even see where you're going still baffles me slightly, Dan, so I might need a few tips from your 200 backstroke days. The thought of you doing a 4-length race, though, Dan, that's something that I would love to see at some point. I reckon there's still some life for that 200 free, maybe?
Oh, mate, well... No, absolutely not. I loved doing it. I loved swimming, but my days are well and truly over. But no, a 200. Do you say 200 free then? Oh, mate, absolutely not. No.
I was trying to weasel out of him a little bit of a comeback, a little bit of an announcement of a comeback, but he's reluctant at the moment.
I'll give you one thing, Tom. Right? I watched your. Obviously, I was there when you won that. When you won your 200 freestyle in Tokyo, and I was there when the day after you won the 4x2 freestyle relay, and it really did. I've never been a 200 freestyler, and it was really, you really inspired me to do a 200 freestyle. Now I got back in thinking I could join the next relay team. Absolutely wasn't going to happen, but it definitely pushed me to have a go at it.
There we go. Well, that's very, very kind of you to say, Dan, your 1500s didn't quite inspire me to do a 1500. Not just yet, I don't think.
Can I say it didn't inspire me either? It inspired me, but not to do a 1500 myself. I just loved, clearly watching both of you, and obviously for different reasons, different ways, different places, different races, but both of you equally. It's a joy to watch that final 500, not the first 500. I got a bit bored because you went slow, if you don't mind me saying so. It was just the speed that you came back on those 1500 metres freestyles, Dan. I've got to tell you, it was always so exciting. Loved it.
Thank you, Andy. And now we're going into the heat 2 of the women's 200 metre backstroke. Going into...
I think that's the result, actually, isn't it? That's the result of heat 2. And here's heat 3.
So, yeah, heat 3 of 9. Going in first, Erin Perman from the city of Exeter.
So Erin in 4, Sophie Bromley of Sheffield in 5, Megan Titchener in 6 of Torvine, Myla Ince of Guildford in 3. I've been having Welsh lessons, Tom, and it's been quite interesting. I've learnt some new words and certainly some new ways to pronounce it, and I've decided that the word momentum is possibly my favourite new word. So it's heat 3 of 9 heats of this women's 200 metres backstroke. Fastest seed right in the centre. In that light green, the bright green hat, is Erin Perman of Exeter City. Possibly the best start coming from lane 2. That's Isabel Price of City of Birmingham. Looks like there's nobody in lane 1, so Ava Holt of Teddington has withdrawn. But lane 2, really good start there from Isabel Price of Birmingham.
Really good start there from her, and it was a great underwater work. Now on backstroke you cannot go past 15 metres. Even if you're a centimetre past, that is automatic disqualification.
Well, it certainly is, and we've seen a couple of those. Unfortunately, Luke Greenbank had a really tough one at the Olympic Games where he just looked absolutely fantastic. Got to say, I just want to ask quickly, Tom Dean, a slightly different question. Just that men's 4x2 free relay, because you had exactly the same team in Tokyo winning gold as you did in Paris winning gold. I think that's unique on the world stage, is it not?
It's unique on the world stage for swimming and athletics, actually. So when I heard that stat, that was quite special. The same for defending an Olympic title, myself, James Guy, Duncan Scott, and of course Matt Richards. And the thought that all 4 of us are back firing, very much with our sights set on LA 2028, is very exciting. So I love racing that event. We went there, we did the swim we wanted to do, and defended our Olympic title, so very special.
And those 4 guys, you 4 guys, I guess are almost a victim of your own success, because it's attracting more and more specialists and more people to come along and join your party, and therefore you're going to have to get even faster and even faster just to make the British team.
I mean, just to make a British final for the 200 free is probably just as competitive as an Olympics or a World Championships, because of the quality that we have here in this country. I very much feel that 100 freestyle is following that same path, and the relay for the 4x1 could be up there with the 4x2. I feel like it's only a matter of time. It might be this year, it might be over the next 3 years, with obviously some of the youngsters coming up, but it's an exciting time to be a freestyler.
It certainly is. I'd like to ask you about Jacob Mills in a minute, because what he did last night was quite extraordinary. Loved watching that race. This is Heat 3 of the women's 200 backstroke, and Erin Perman of Exeter City wins it. Great swim from her. Really super swim. 2:18.48, massive lifetime best. 2:21.8 she was coming into this race. And if you know Erin Perman, send her a message. Goodness me, she's only 15 years of age. She's only just turned 15. So that a fantastic swim for her. Erin wins it. Second was Megan Titchener of Torvine. And third, Lois Smith of Basildon. Basildon having a good meet here as well. Very good indeed. Great to see these youngsters coming along. And certainly I was going to ask you about Jacob Mills on that final, the men's 100 metres freestyle last night. I mean, he was something special, wasn't he?
He was. I've had a lot of messages about him actually in the last 24 hours. I think looking at someone like Jacob Mills and understanding the pressure that will be on him to come into a 100-metre freestyle final at the British Championships, at the Olympic pool of all places. I love Ponds Forge, but this is a level above. I think we can all agree. Incredible. He needs the right guidance. I'm sure he has that from his coach. He's got the right physical attributes to be a fantastic 100 freestyler. I can't wait to see what he does over the next few years.
And when you say the right physical attributes, I actually met him last night. He went to a certain chicken restaurant and had a little bit of a celebration with his mum. And I got to say, he stood up. I shook his hand. He stood up, and the whole place went dark. He's a monster, isn't he? He's a moose.
It's rare that I have to be eyeline or even look up towards someone. So when a 17-year-old is towering up at my height and above, it's quite something. So fantastic to see.
What are you, 6'5"?
6'5".
Yeah, and he must be...
He must be up there. He must be 6'5", 6'6" at least, and long arms, and not fully developed just yet. He's not filled his frame out. He's not become a man just yet. And I think with weight training and the right guidance physically, it's so exciting.
Well, he certainly is on his way, but the time he's doing, there's nothing junior about that, is it? What was it? Did he go under 48?
He was 48.0, I think, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think is a British age group record. So fantastic. Obviously, Jacob Whittle, a very fast junior, but incredible swim from him.
Indeed. Well, I have to, again, congratulate you on making that 4x100 free relay team. 48.03 went to Jacob Mills. And Justice leaning forward, the fastest seed in this, the fourth heat of 9 of the women's 200 metres backstroke. Justice from Mount Kelly. Some really good schools programmes here in Britain now. Repton School representative, Woodis, Fenella Woodis in 3. Ella Justice from Mount Kelly in 4. Melissa Mainwaring of City of Glasgow in 5, and this heat 4 of the women's 200 backstroke. And well, I did notice one of the swimmers the other day Tom and Dan, maybe a question for both of you. One of the swimmers the other day on the backstroke had a nose clip on. Have you ever raced in a nose clip?
Not myself personally. I know a lot of the backstrokers do like it. Johnny Marshall, who we saw swim a fantastically quick time on the 100 yesterday, is a big fan of a nose clip. I always see him wearing his heading back from his race. So not myself personally. Backstroke is all about the underwaters, and arguably the 200 is one of the toughest swimming races in the program because of the lactic acid that you're getting in your legs coming off that last wall. We'll see it as we get towards some of the later finals and the finals tonight, but their ability to still go 15 meters underwater once your legs are burning, once your lungs are burning at the 150 meter mark is incredible, and that really separates the top backstrokers from everyone else.
I agree with you there, Tom. You know, that turn, that last turn on a 200 meter backstroke, I don't know what it is. Obviously, you hit the wall, but it feels like the wall then falls on you because the lactic acid in your legs, your lungs are burning, your arms are burning, and you've still got 50 meters to go. It is so hard, but also, I've never swum with a nose clip either.
Well, I have to say, I tried it once, and it really was very uncomfortable because I like breathing out of my nose. And bizarrely, when you stick a nose clip on,
doesn't work.
You can't. But it is funny. It's like, I don't know if you've ever put what is that, aqualungs on, whatever you call it, scuba stuff. Have you ever gone underwater with scuba stuff and you breathe in when you're underwater? Just the most bizarre feeling. Have you done that?
I haven't personally, but I can tell you on some of my races, I wish I could take a big, deep breath underwater because it is tough, and that's what really, really tests you down the back end, especially the 200. And I watch these boys doing 400 IM. Leon Marchand, an incredible underwater specialist. He goes 15 meters off his last wall of a 400 medley. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, it's crackers, isn't it? Well, here we go. Amy Jones of Leatherhead swimming very well indeed and swimming away from the field here. She's on the lane 9, but she's got it in a perfect place, just a couple of inches off it. That's allowing her to swim nice and straight. Her lifetime best 2:19.05. Oh, well done. She doesn't do 2:18s, Amy Jones. 2:19.05, and she's just gone 2:17.98. Well done. That's a cracking swim. Amy Jones wins it of Leatherhead. Second was Ella Justice of Mount Kelly, right in the centre there. And then in third place was Madeline Sopper of University of Nottingham. It's a very good swim indeed. There's the confirmation of the result then. So Amy Jones wins it from Ella Justice second, Sopper third, Constance Logan of Crawley fourth, with Fenella Woodis fifth of Repton. And we're rattling through these women's 200 metres backstrokes, aren't we? This is getting very quick indeed. Wow, so Tom Dean, first time in the commentary box. We've talked to Dan quite a few times about how he finds it, and is it what he expected? Is it what you expected coming here, sitting with your sweaty headphones on, talking into a microphone stuck to your top lip?
Yeah, it's slightly bizarre. It's slightly bizarre to be sat this side of the of the stream, but I am really, really enjoying it. At the end of the day, I'm a swimmer, but I'm a swimming fan as well. So to watch these guys go out and put themselves on the line and see some fantastic PBs like we just saw from Amy in that previous heat, that's what it's all about. So I do really, really enjoy it.
Super. Well, this coming up here is Heat 5, and Nicole Ryan of Maidenhead is the fastest seed in this Heat 5, and Evangeline Pierce of Basildon Phoenix is in lane 5, Heat 5. Nicole Ryan in lane 4. Tegan Matthews in 3. So this is Heat 5, women's 200 backstroke. Nicole Ryan right in the centre is the fastest seed. And that bright orange hat, you can't miss them, can you, from Basildon Phoenix. Evangeline Pierce had a very good start there in lane 5, Dan.
Yeah, the orange hat of Evangeline Pierce has gone out very quick in this first 25. It'll be interesting to see if she has gone out a bit too quick, but she looks very strong.
How they swim tactically, how they swim these 200s. How do you swim your 200 metres freestyle? Olympic champion, and I've got to tell you, you caught me out on that final because you were not in the picture, then suddenly you were right there. It was a brilliant swim. But how do you go about swimming that 200 freestyle? Because it's no longer really a distance race or a middle, it's almost a sprint, isn't it?
Well, Andy, without giving away all my secrets, I think the way you tactically approach a 200 has to be, of course, playing to your strengths and understanding your own weaknesses. But you're absolutely right. It's a sprint with tactics where you have to react to what everyone else does. For those of you who remember my 200 freestyle final at the Tokyo Olympic Games, I was next to Sunwoo Huang, who went out under world record pace. So the ability to sit on someone's wave and be comfortable with being behind in an Olympic final takes quite a lot, but I knew my strength. I knew the strength of my back 50. It'll be interesting here as well to see whether the tactics have been executed correctly in this 200, because it can really come back and bite you. There is no hiding on a long course 200 if you execute your race incorrectly. So it'll be interesting to see how these girls go this morning.
Well, Evangeline Pierce has started really well right in the centre, and she swam away at the moment, but indeed it will be very, very interesting to see whether she's gone too hard or not. She's done well off this turn, and this is great discipline. About probably 10 metres underwater there, Dan. Very good indeed.
Very good on that last turn, as we just said. Now she will really be burning. How is she going to finish this? But she doesn't look as if she's slowing down. She actually looks as if she's speeding up.
Well, she certainly does, and it's great discipline. And also going well is Connie Davis from University of Nottingham, closest to us. She's got a green hat right at the bottom of that shot. Also going well up there, and one is Hannah Murphy of Royal Tunbridge Wells Monsters Swimming Club. But no doubt about the winner, Evangeline Pierce. 2:20.73 was her best. She's gone a 2:19.6. So that's another full second underneath her lifetime best. It's 80 metres down the other end to see what time she's done. She's really gasping. She's getting as much oxygen in as she possibly can, but that's a cracking swim. Not sure she knows what time she's done yet. There's the second place finisher, Connie Davis from Nottingham, swam very well indeed. So Pierce wins it. Let's see the confirmation of the result of that Heat 5. Evangeline Pierce wins it from Basildon. Connie Davis second, Hannah Murphy third, with Nicole Ryan fourth, and Ruby Stevenson fifth. So that's Heat 5, Heat 6 coming up. But a very interesting question for you, and one that's Dan and I haven't fallen out with him over too many things so far in the commentary box, but this might be one. The hardest event on the swimming programme. Now, Dan's got a ridiculous answer. I bet you can't guess what it is.
No, I don't know if I can speak with too much authority when I'm sat next to the man who swims a mile out of choice.
For fun.
Nearly a mile out of choice for fun, exactly, as his event that he races in. It's such a tough question. I grew up doing 400 medleys when I was back at Maidenhead Swimming Club. So, to be honest with you, I'm going to be leaning towards that as the toughest event, because I know the pain that I was put through. But to be honest with you, I've had a few 200 freestyles that I've misjudged, and I've been at 170 metres thinking the lifeguards are going to have to dive in and fish me out here.
200 freestyle? You're having a laugh, mate. I know you're Olympic champion, but come on. That's... Yeah, anyway, I'm just going to talk you through the first bit of this race here. Jessica Hill of Tiverton. 200 freestyle. You're having a laugh. She started very well. Lovely still head position. There's the gold hat in lane number 5. That's Evangeline Pierce of Basildon Phoenix. Nicole Ryan in 4. Excuse me, this is Heat 6. I do apologise. That's incorrect. So in lane number 6, first to turn it was Fionn Humphreys of Novio with?
Novio.
Yes, yeah, what he said. Libby Monday of Kingston in lane 5. Holly Robinson in 4 with Holly Waymond of Maxwell in 3. But look at this, a beautiful backstroke stroke. Lovely still head, really rolling the shoulder. It's a joy to see high quality backstroke.
Yeah, it is. She's had a fantastic first 100 metres, Fionn Humphreys from Novio Gwynedd. Coming into this second turn now. Let's watch her underwater. Well, maybe if she comes back tonight, maybe she can work on that underwater. Maybe she can go a little bit further than 5 metres. I do understand. I'm sat here on the side, and it is much more easier said than done. But she is looking really good going into this last 75 of the 200 metre backstroke.
Tom, underwaters. I mean, the underwaters, obviously, backstrokers use it an awful lot, the flyers do. How much do you use the underwater phase, and how much do you practice that in training? Because it does seem to make a massive difference for some swimmers. Yeah, it's huge, and I think you look at someone like a Michael Phelps, who really revolutionised using the underwaters to his strength, compared to an Ian Thorpe, for example, who barely did a single kick off the wall, but was still swimming the kind of times that he does. It's a super important strength for every single event, and that's something that my coach Dave McNulty constantly impresses upon us. A very, very important tool to have in your arsenal as a swimmer, and these girls will be learning that as they progress through this event over the years. Well, you've mentioned David McNulty's name a couple of times, Nutty. I've got a proposal, and I know it's a bit of a radical one. We'll come to that in a second, but I think he should be knighted. Natasha Whittle of Stockport Metro in lane number 9 wins that heat 6 of the women's 200 metres backstroke. It's the last of the uncycle seeded heats. Natasha Whittle, really good swim from her, right on the outside, and with a spare lane between her and the next swimmer. Never that easy, but Whittle wins it. Second, Holly Robinson of Mount Kelly. Jessica Hum of Rushmore Royals finishing in 3rd. There we go. So that's heat 6. The next 3 heats, 7, 8 and 9, are the fastest 3 heats on this women's 200 metres backstroke. Cycle seeded, so they're evenly split all amongst those heats. It's, well, the quickest 3 here. And another question, if you could choose a lane, I'll ask you both again. I know we've sort of had a little bit of a chat about this already, Dan, but if you could choose a lane that you wanted to be in, maybe for a sprint event and then a longer distance event, which lane would you choose? Would you choose the centre always, or would you sometimes choose an outside lane? Dan, what are you thinking?
Mine was actually lane 3. I had my breakthrough swim in 2014 in Commonwealth Games, and I was in lane 3, and it just held a special place for me. Ah,
there you go.
I think the centre lanes are always preferable. You can really see what's going on. But you know, I divert back to your event, the 1500. Look at Greg Powell at the World Championships in 2022 in Budapest, lane 1. No one saw him coming, an outside smoker, and took the field by surprise. It was quite special. You have to work with whatever cards you get dealt heading into that final.
So heat 7 of the women's 200 metres backstroke, and Holly McGill, University of Stirling, going in lane number 4 and 5. Very good start from Caitlin Ebbage of University of Stirling, and that's that start from the University of Stirling swimmer, the black hat right in the centre. She does look very good, and another lovely backstroke. Good commitment down this this first 30 metres or so, Tom.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Holly McGill training up in Stirling. They've, like I said, had a change of coach, and I was fortunate enough to do a few days up with them off the back of the Edinburgh International Meet a few weeks ago. It's a fantastic centre up there. Really, really great setup. So I think it'll be great to see how Stirling get on at this meet. They've had a pretty good one so far. They always come in full force. It'll be interesting to see how they go today.
Coming to the end of that first 50, as we just saw, Caitlin Ebbage. She finished it in a 31.00. Now she's been caught up a little bit by Holly McGill. Coming off the second turn now, Holly McGill has taken the lead a little bit, not by much, by 0.4 of a second, but I think we could see a good fight up in this last 100 metres from those two girls.
Well, certainly good technique, excellent technique from the leader at the moment, Holly McGill in 4. Ebbage going with her. And these two just starting to get a little bit of a gap between them, possibly in 3rd position at the moment in lane 6. It's Millie Wells of Ellesmere College, but with 50 metres to go here, let's see how this turn goes, Tom. Over nice and tight, and then see how the underwater phase is.
It's going to be interesting to see who's got that engine coming home down the last 50. Of course, you have to remember these women will be saving a little something for tonight. You would have thought, if they can get comfortably through. This event takes a lot out of you, so if you can qualify comfortably, you know that you can step it on this evening, and that's what we see a lot of in these final 3 seeded heats.
Talking about comfortably, Holly McGill has comfortably won this race. She comes in winning the heat in a time of 2:12.04. Excellent swim from her. Second, Caitlin Ebbage, 2:15.31, and third, Darcy Smith, from Portsmouth North Sea, 2:15.83. Great swims from the girls, very well paced.
Well, it was well paced. It was interestingly paced, I have to say, because she took off. I suppose, I mean, she could go a lot quicker. I wonder whether she's just practicing the second half of that race, because she was comfortable to 100, moved it on to the 150, but my goodness, that final 50 was something to behold, wasn't it? Holly McGill wins at 2:12.0, 3.3 seconds almost faster than Caitlin Ebbidge in second, Darcy Smith third, with Millie Wells fourth. I have to say, I think Holly's going to go an awful lot quicker than that in the final, but I'm guessing job done. She worked well, comfortable to 100, and then maybe tested herself on the second 100, which is also an interesting and slightly unusual way of doing it. So Honey Osrin, the fastest seed in this second last heat of the women's 200 metres backstroke, with Neem Ward just outside of her, and this will be an interesting one. And talking to the lads here about which heat you'd prefer to be in. Don't really care, just get on with it. That's interesting.
Yeah, Honey will have kept an eye there on what happened in the heat before her. And, of course, she'll be followed up by Katie Shanahan and Freya Colbert, two very strong backstrokers in the final heat. So she needs to do enough, and if she can come 1 or 2 in her heat, then that should be comfortably through for the final.
The second last heat of the women's 200 metres backstroke, right on the centre there. Very good start from Honey Osborne. Also a good start up there, Susie McNair of University of Stirling. But on her Olympic debut, Honey Osborne, representing Great Britain, Loughborough Performance Centre, went to the Olympics and in Paris made that wonderful Olympic final, 7th in the final on her Olympic debut. That's pretty special, Tom, isn't it?
Very special to do that, to not only progress through from the heats to the semi-finals to the finals, which a lot of people don't understand the challenges, the physical but the emotional strain that puts on you going through the round. But for Honey to get into that final and drop a 2:08.1 was very special. It was great having her on the team with us in Paris, and it'll be great to see what she does here. Andy, of course, you will remember the challenges that you face going through from a heats to a semi to a final, and always wanting to step up round to round.
I was just going to ask you, actually, it's quite interesting because you guys did it slightly differently, didn't you? You had the heats, the semis and the finals. And Dan here, he didn't have the luxury of having the semi, or didn't have the problem of having a semi on the 15. How do you look at it? I mean, obviously, let's take away the fact it's an awful long way and it would exhaust you, but would you prefer, if it was energy neutral, would you prefer to have the opportunity to do a semi-final, or would you prefer to just go through and have a crack straight from heats to finals?
I like it as it is.
Yeah.
There's not many benefits to a 1500 or as a 1500 swimmer, but that is one of them.
What will be interesting, gents, actually, is with the recent announcement of the other 50s in the Olympic schedule, are they going to keep all of the heats and semis and finals, or will it just be too busy of a schedule? So it'll be interesting to see what the IOC decide there, because of course the schedule is getting busier and busier. But right now, as it stands for the 200s, just like this 200 backstroke, we do have the heats, semis and the finals.
Yeah, and as we come into the end of this heat 8 of 9 now, Honey Osrin and Neve Ward have had a good swim. They fought it out between each other. Honey obviously won the 100, won bronze in the 100-metre backstroke last year in this event. Winning that heat now is Neve Ward, 2:12.62 second, very close, 2:12.77. And bronze, Scarlett Major from Swansea University, 2:15.90. Great swim from all these girls.
Well, you've got to say job done again. 2:12, comfortable, solid. It's a good swim. It really is. But there's going to be quite a few 2:12s. That final's going to be really tough. Look at that. 2:12.6 wins it. 2:12.77. So just 15/100 splitting those first two. Scarlett Major third. There we go. So 2:12.62, 2:12.77. Ward from Osrin, Major in there as well. I'm absolutely sure that both of the top two there just getting through to the final. No semis at these championships. It's an extra challenge. It will be in the majors, certainly at the World Championships later this summer. So this is the very last heat of this session. It is morning 4 of this 2025 British Aquatics GB Championships, and what a final heat we've got. Katie Shanahan in 4, Freya Colbert in 5. This should be really fun. Beatrice Varley's in there, Sophie Shaw's in there, Isabel Liptrot from Wigan. This should be fun. Heat 9 of the women's 200 metres backstroke. There's Colbert, champion on the 200 freestyle. Silver on the 400 medley, in which she is the world champion. Right next to Katie Shanahan of Stirling. And Shanahan decided to swim the 100 metres backstroke over the 400 medley here and won it. And that was quite interesting.
I'll be fascinated to see how these two girls go this morning. Colbert and Shanahan, both my teammates and our teammates from Olympic Games and World Championships in the past. Really interesting to see that Katie didn't go for the 400 IM, like you said, in deciding instead to go for the 100 backstroke. The decision paid off.
Do you think that was for a bit of fun, like just doing some fun events like Duncan Scott doing the fun 200 fly?
Yeah, I think you might be exactly right. The 400 IM takes a lot out of you. Like I said, I know it's a tough event to wrap your head around. So Katie probably put her hands up and said, look, it's the year after the Olympics. I maybe want to try a few different things. I don't want to go all in on 400 medley. Maybe do a little bit more sprint training and go for that 100 backstroke instead. But Katie and Freya will have raced each other for years in this event, in the 400 medley, in the freestyle events. It'll be great to see how they go. They're pretty much over at exactly the same time, 104.80 and 104.74 there for Katie. It'll be great to see what they do tonight as well.
Yeah, it's great to see the fitness in these two girls as well. Now, they've already swum quite a few events already. I'm talking about Freya Colbert here. She's already going home with a bit of silverware. She won gold in the 200 free, silver on the 400 IM. I'm sure we're going to see her on that podium tonight. But also Katie Shanahan. Last night we saw her take the gold medal in the 100-metre backstroke.
A couple of Olympic final places as well for Shanahan. And 5th in the 200 backstroke, 7th in the 4 IM. Had a wonderful Commonwealth Games, didn't she? Really excellent. Mr. Breakthrough. What a beautiful stroke, though. The technique there just looks fabulous, doesn't it?
Absolutely impeccable. And the technique here on this last 50, if you can maintain that efficient stroke, it will really pay dividends. Freya's picking up slightly down this last 15 metres. She seems to be putting on a bit of a spurt, and I think Katie knows she might have done enough.
So 5 metres to go in this final heat of the women's 200 metres backstroke, and Katie Shanahan's going to take it. There's been 12s. There you go, another one. 2:12.7 wins it. 2:13 for Colbert, so she'll be through into that final as well. And there's a plethora of top quality swimmers in that women's 200 metres backstroke, all very close indeed. Well, she's got a smile on her face, so that's good. Puffing a little bit, but Shanahan wins it from Colbert 2nd. Varley 3rd. 4th in lane number 6 was Isabel Liptrot of Wigan. It'll be very interesting to see what the qualifiers are, who the qualifiers are for this final of the women's 200 metres backstroke. Lovely lady, though, Katie Shanahan. Absolutely. she always seems to be full of the joys of the world. Katie Shanahan wins that final heat.
Yeah, and in 2nd place there, Freya Colbert, following closely by Beatrice Varley from Plymouth.
So let's see the qualifiers for this women's 200 metres backstroke final later on this evening. Look how close it is at those top few. 2:12.04, 62, 70, 77. McGill from Ward, from Shanahan, from Osborne, from Colbert. I'm not sure it's going to finish in that order, but that's going to be a right old spicy final.
Yeah, I think London Aquatics Centre is about to turn into a battlefield in this event later. I'm excited to watch it.
Very good. Well, the junior finals, the B finalists, the para finalists coming up here as well. And there's been some fantastic swimming. Tom Dean, it's been fantastic to have you join us in this commentary box for, I think, your inaugural crack at a commentary. We've had Dan in here for 3 full days, and that's his in fact four sets of heats now. Is it what you expected? I think I sort of asked you that earlier on. Is that a little bit of noise going on? We've turned up your talk back so you can hear the boss talking to you in your ears while you're commentating?
Absolutely everything I expected and more. And who better to take my inaugural session on the commentary than you two lovely gentlemen. So it's been a pleasure. Hopefully I'll be back here tonight to do a little bit more. We've got a fantastic evening of racing coming up. I can't wait to be a part of it.
We certainly do. Well, it all kicks off at 6 o'clock this evening with the B finals. There's a short session of B finals, and then there's a little bit of a gap, and then we get to 6:45 for the pre-game show, and that will be the guys in the studio with Betty, and then 7 o'clock the final starts. So join us then, 6 o'clock for the B finals. Have a great day, and see you at 6.